swing big back in my chickens. It was their bedtime already, and I made sure to go to the restroom and stuff like that. So I hope the audio is now working. I will try and test it, but we should be fine now again. I really, really hope so. I am really sorry for the inconvenience, but yeah, sometimes technique is not working all the time. So I hope everyone will join again, just to make sure to use this time wisely. I will set up the petition for the special AAP Appreciation Day. I will give you guys a few moments to join again. I hope I am now at change.org, and I will let me guys know, is change.org a thing that is happening in the States as well? Or open petition? Let's use open petition. I don't think it's that much of a deal which petition we are using. Hopefully it's just spread awareness and have something to say universal. Hey, an AAP Appreciation Day would be really nice. Universal should have an AAP appreciation AAP should have a special day for all guests with the AAP once a year. I think it's not the best title. Which region is affected? Orlando, Florida. I think it's Orange County. Who can decide on your petition? It's Universal Orlando, I guess. What topic does your petition most closely relate to? Animal rights, no. Education, environment, health, migration, culture, civil rights, family, education, economy, migration, maybe health. Maybe health. I am starting the petition for, no, I am starting it for me as myself. Make sure everything is, those dates don't need to be published. I don't want to have my address on the internet because there are so many crazy people out there. More people understand your request if it's short, specific, and written in simple words. Then let's do it, I guess. I think I will let Google help me write a text for the petition, because I want to have a good text. So again, I really hope that all of you will join me again. At the moment, I see 3 people and nothing in the chat happening. So I think it's fair to make the petition starting now. I need to figure out how I can use the chat when I'm streaming on my phone, because it was pretty annoying that I was not able to answer you. So again, I am now in the process of setting up the petition for an AAP Appreciation Day at Universal. I think it would be nice if you can share it with everyone so we can spread awareness, and I have something I can actually show off at Universal at the IAPA, and maybe I can talk to the Special Olympics and make a wish also in some smaller community things going on at Universal. So yeah, let's write a nice text for the petition, I guess. So as I said, I really hope that our lovely Amber will show up again, because it's always so lovely to talk to you and meet you in the chat and have someone who really understands all of the accessibility needs. And yeah. So again, it would be nice if someone would just give me a thumbs up to let me know that the sound is working now, because I don't want to have a monologue going on all the time. So chat is working again. Hi Ina, nice to see you, nice to meet you. I really hope that we can just spread a little bit of awareness with this petition going on. As I said, I am in the moment, too many browsers are open up. I'm at the moment setting up the petition. Perfect. I don't know what was happening. My alarm was going off. I think it just crashed the live stream. I forget to turn off the alarm that I need to feed the monsters, my chicken. So I have a daily reminder of feeding the monsters in their coop, so they will not attack me when I'm too late. So this is the reason why my alarm was going off, and yeah, I think it crashed the entire live stream. And in the moment, as I said, I really want to set up the petition and share it with you guys so you can share it with everyone. I think the smartest idea is to get it signed by as many people as possible until November. So I can, my plan is make an appointment with Make-A-Wish. They have the Make-A-Wish village in Kissimmee, not far away from Universal, and talk with them directly if they maybe are willing to partner up with this petition and maybe have a more impact at Universal than seeing who is the local person with the Special Olympics, to get their support as well. I only have access to the media and management at Universal, but I think if I am talking to guest services, show them the petition, and to my contacts at Surfside, I am pretty sure they can help me out getting this stuff to the right people that are working at Universal. But again, I want to build up support beforehand and not just show up with 10 people signing the petition, because then I just can forget about it. I think to get any kind of impact, we need at least 1,000 people is my first step to get the stuff signed. And I think this is not so unrealistic when we are starting to sharing it in the whole community and asking our friends and every family to sign it. And yeah, I think you will be a good help. And if you are not mind, we can organize it together. I will set it up and you can share it with everyone you think would benefit from this kind of event, and everyone who's willing to sign it, because as I said, I think 1,000 people is a number we need to have to make Universal start thinking about it. And then I will go to Make-A-Wish Village. I wanted to visit it anyway because I, as I said, was a volunteer for Make-A-Wish here in Germany. And I think they can have a good impact. And I know they are already working together with Universal. The reason is why I quit Make-A-Wish was the Disney connection, because they are heavily founded by Disney, and Disney has a huge impact of what they are doing. And I was just like, I don't want to be associated with Disney anymore. This is the reason why I stopped working for Make-A-Wish. But Special Olympics, I think every athlete with Down syndrome or stuff like that would benefit from an event like that. So maybe they can share it as well. And if you have Autism Speaks and Butterfly Effects, I don't know all of those organizations because I'm here from Germany. I only know about Make-A-Wish and Special Olympics because they are also located here in Germany. But it makes sense to reach out to all of those kind of organizations. And I will definitely reach out to the children hospitals in the Orlando area as well. And I don't know if you have stuff like that, places where people with mental disabilities are working, those working places, those are also, I think, a good way to get people signed and to reach the right people. And then I will definitely add IAPA or beforehand talk to those people who are responsible for all of the inclusion and all of the accommodation stuff in the theme parks. They should also know about it, because it is not Universal's fault. But if I would show up with only 100 people signed the petition, they would be like, this just not it just not don't make sense for us to put in effort when we don't see in advance that people are really interested in this kind of stuff. And I think this is a legit reason, because they would need to close the theme park for a couple of hours, and yeah, it's all about money in the end of the day. And yeah, and again, this is a thing, no one would get entrance for free. You will only get access to the park at that point when you have a normal park ticket and the AAP attached. And this is another thing Universal needs to figure out, how they can make it happen organization-wise. How, I don't know if the AAP is turning off, or if the people in the front of the parks, when they scan your ticket, see that the AAP is attached. They need to have something that proves it. Maybe just show your IBCCES card, for an example. Or maybe they open it up for everyone who has a disability. Maybe not even just for the AAP, because maybe someone is going who is not considering going to the parks during a normal operation because their autism is so severe. So I think the AAP is a good basis, but it should be open to everyone who has a disability, which is affecting enjoying the parks during normal park hours. And I think there are, as I said, way more people that can get affected than just autism or mobility issues, recovering from cancer, or really severe anxiety or stuff like that can really get triggered. And another thing is, which can get included on that day, is like, bring your service animals to the park. This would also be a nice thing. Just think about it and meet up with all the service dogs. in the park. This would just be a fun way the cast members could play with the service animals. This would be great social media material for Universal when they also have all of the service animals there, having the best day of their lives, get a few characters out. I know at Disney they are great with it. When Bluto is meeting a service dog, for an example, those are just the cutest interactions you will ever see. This would also be a brilliant thing to do. To say, hey, let's bring all the service into the parks on this day. Of course, only certified and well-behaved service animals. I just hated those emotional support animals. I want to scream when I hear about them, because those, I love animals, but a lot of those emotional support animals are not trained animals. When you are bringing them in locations where something unpredictable is happening, they are just going crazy. And it's not the fault of the animal. It's never the fault of the animal, of the dog. But a trained service dog is a complete different. I see it with a service dog of my friend. I don't know if you have the separation. He is a certified service animal because his name is Thor. He is supporting my blind friend. And he is so well behaved. Okay, there's difference. When you are getting off his working equipment, he is a normal puppy. He's crazy as hell, and if you're not giving him his stick, he is going insane. But as soon as he's working, he will do everything you're telling him. Those are the difference. And I know a lot of airlines at the moment are struggling with those emotional support animals. And this is something, it's funny and sad at the same time. I think it is the law. They needed to allow those emotional support animals at Disney housing. What could possibly go wrong? Again, a service animal, there were animals that can predict your blood sugar. They can predict an epilepsy, stuff like that. Those are really helpful animals, don't get me wrong. But an emotional support animal that is not trained, not certified, not anything, will make the life for everyone around it really tough. And at Disney, it's so crazy, it's so funny. I am so happy that I'm not doing the program at this point, that I had a good time in the old housing complex, because now they are allowing those emotional support animals. The best thing was, I was talking to a Universal cast member who did the program after COVID, after this rule was in fact, and she told me a guy showed up with his emotional support snake. And I saw it on my own eyes because, again, I applied for the program again. You can't use an option where you are telling, I don't want to live with any animals. And it's nothing about I hate animals. It's about someone can get allergic to cats or dogs. And I think this is false inclusion. When you are just pandering to those people who self-diagnose themselves with a depression, and then they bring a dog who's not trained. You are still working on the program. Cats, most of the time, they are more chilled and easy, but a dog left alone for 9 hours straight, and it should never be the responsibility of your roommates to take care of him or her. Maybe when there would be an option, I'm completely fine living with a dog. I love my dog. I would miss him. It's great, and everyone in the apartment is taking care of the animal. Okay, another discussion. But again, those option was not provided by Disney. So you would know when you move in if there was an animal living with you. And again, think about moving in and see an emotional support snake. I don't know. I just don't know if this. I think this would freak me out. I have nothing against snake, but just I want to see the study that a snake is helping you dealing with your anxiety. This would be interested, and I think those people that want to have their emotional support animals everywhere in public spaces are making the life more dangerous and more complicated for people that really rely on their support animals. Yeah, exactly. A snake would me give the anxiety that they are thinking the snake is not providing. So yeah, I think this is the problem, and I saw it. There were is a content creator. I don't remember his name. He's blind. His guide dog names is Miss Maple, and he shares all the struggles he sometimes just have taking his dog with him in restaurants and stuff like that. And hey, it's the law. The dog is coming with him, and I can guarantee you, a trained service animal will never ever make any problem. Never ever. They are trained to be well behaved. When they are not working and just playing outside, yeah, they are normal puppies. Thor can be a handful when he knows he's not working. A really handful. I love this dog to my death, and I'm like, when he's retiring, I want to have this dog. This is my dog, because at one point he needs to retire because he's too old to do all the works, and he was bitten by a tick and had those nervous system illness, and he is shaking all the time. So this dog is not doing his job forever anymore. And you need to know, at least here in Germany, a service animal, a blind dog, can cost up to $13,000. So those animals, the real service animals, are expensive because they have a hard training going on. And those dogs are now getting compared to those untrained emotional support animals. And I can completely understand the restaurant. They can't see the difference. They only see a dog that is destroying their restaurant. And then they are saying, we don't allow any kind of dogs. And then you have the discussion that the person with I will not say depression and stuff like this aren't real, or aren't real disabilities. But a person who is blind needs this dog with him all the time. And now this person is suffering and is not able to bring his dog with him or her anymore because other people are cheating the system. It's the exact same thing that is happening with DAS, because people cheating the system and faking disabilities and renting scooters. Because of this reason, Disney is making it harder for everyone, even for the people who needs this program, who needs the condemnation to participate in the first place. And I think this is a problem at the moment with society. Again, I have a lot of respect for everyone who is struggling with anxiety and is recovering from it. But everyone I know who is really struggling with this kind of illness will never talk publicly about it. They don't want to be a center of the attention. And I think this is at the moment a problem, that people, especially in social media, start to faking disabilities to get more attention. And I just hate it. I just hate it with all my guts because, again, I don't think Universal would change anything because they understand the situation quite well. And again, it's good that they have a place like the IBCCS in place to help them filtering everything out. But I will not say that people will show up on this AAP Appreciation Day that don't have a disability. You will have them because they will people that are talking about the event, and people will figure it out that you have low capacity and the waiting times will be down. And everything, when this kind of stuff is happening on purpose because of those people, because you don't want them to have a line. And I think with the AAP Day, there's another brilliant thing they can just test out and work. The virtual line thing I'm talking about, because as I said, I don't think you will have long waiting times, because in the first place, everyone is using the AAP, so you can make sure you know exactly how many people will show up on what point at the attraction. And succession will be even open the normal line for AAP to make sure everything is running faster. Because I don't know how they will measuring the time when no one is using the normal line, because everyone has the AAP. So those are problems and things I think Universal needs to figuring out, because when you have a day, especially for those kind of people, you will not have a normal conventional waiting time. And I think this is a brilliant way to test just out new systems, because I think everyone, at least the person that are going with the AAP, will understand, especially when the event is happening for the first time. Everyone will understand when something is not right and not going in the right direction, or maybe going even wrong. So this event would be just a perfect playground to test out new accessibility features, new accommodation features, get the whole industry involved. Like I said, people from the IAPA, hey, you have a new concept for accommodation or for people with disability, test it. You have a new invention for the boarding process for wheelchair user. Hey, this is the event. You can test it, because a lot of people with those kind of needs will show up. So I don't think we should only think about a normal day opening up for those people. I think it's also a testing ground for people who take inclusion and adaptation serious. Because I heard a lot of, especially from engineers, the problem that they can't really think about how an amputation, how prosthetics will affect someone in the coasters. And again, this would be an opportunity to just invite the engineers and talk to exactly all kinds of disabilities. You can have them there and make questioning. I think no one with a disability would mind to help them improve it. And again, this would be a place where disability is in the center of attention without putting a spotlight of a certain person. Everyone is treated equally. I think this is just a great way of enjoying a theme park, because you will not have those stupid comments on that day. And I think this is really important. And I think at attractions like Hagrid's or Frankenstein, maybe they will have a completely different boarding system, because it just don't make sense to have running the conveyor belt. It just makes sense to see, hey, we stop the ride, board it, and then get it off. And then compare the timing, comparing how effective the conveyor belt really is. Those is data for Universal that is really important for the whole operation of the theme park, I guess. And this is data they would never get in the normal operation day. I think all of this kind of stuff I need to make notes and put into the request at Universal. And it would really help a lot when you guys are also collecting all of your ideas. As I said, when I'm done today with the live stream, I will set up the petition and then make a really short video about it and talking about it, so you have the link, the access, and can share this video and the petition, so everyone in the best case knows about it and maybe signing it and helping out. That I think would be really, really great. And I think if we are setting it up in the right direction and in the right way, Universal will at least reply. And for Universal, their press statement and everything most of the time are just nice. And I don't think they mind sharing those press statements with you guys. At Disney, I was like, I am not sure if I am able and allowed to show this email. I am telling you what's inside the email, but I don't want to show the name of a cast member or stuff like that, because I can't afford to get sued by Disney. But Universal, I think they will not ignore the request. And at least I think the right department will have a look and think about it. And for the first step, for the first time, they don't need to open all of the parks. I completely understand when they are saying, hey, Epic is at the moment really precious to us, and not even annual pass members have access yet. We can't open Epic up for stuff like that. We can test the old parks. Maybe islands, when next year the Fast and the Furious ride is opening, maybe just use islands for a couple of hours. I don't know the date for the Pokemon section, but I guess it's still a longer way out than Fast and the Furious. Test it out in Island, because I think Island has good rides and attractions for autistic people. I mean, okay, Cat with a Hat, Sue's Landing. It's a complete. When you are struggling with sensory overload, I would not recommend this attraction. But it's a fun attraction for children, or maybe someone with Down syndrome. I think Cat with a Hat is beautiful, and you have all the superheroes with Marvel. Yes, there is a contact for the AAP. I can give you that. There is a special phone number, and there are special people that are taking care of it. There's the AAP Universal Orlando contact. I will have a look in my emails I have. The contact universe, you have, of course, you could use just the guest services email address, and they will send it forward, but I will have a look in my email account, because I definitely... Yes, the email address would be guestaccessibility@uniparks.com. This is the official email address for the AAP. But I can also give you a phone number. I am always inside of the live stream with my second account to make sure everything is working. So I will give you the phone number with this account. And I will give you the email address. So those are phone number and email address directly from the AAP accessibility teams at Universal. Let me have another look in my email. Is there anything? And I will just give you the information they gave to me. I will just read it out because it's too long to copy it in the chat. How to use your pass. 1. Select an attraction. After entering the park, the attraction is in. You can select it from the list of attractions in the Eligible Attraction tab. Once selected, you will be taken to the Attraction Details page, where you will be able to get a return time by selecting the AAP button. Then, second step, you receive your return time. A return time will be provided based on the attraction current posted wait time. And arrive at the attraction is the third one. See an attraction attendant. Once it is your return time, you can head over to the attraction, and an attraction attendant will validate your return time. You can view or cancel your return time any point after confirmation. And with the attendant stuff, this never happened to me, because they will just scan your face or your ticket, and then they know you. So yeah, this is the easiest way. And again, if you haven't had your interview yet, I would definitely phone them. This is the number, phone them, and I don't know, let me just have a look in the email address again. I think you will get I hope I have my first contact. Yes, you have a case number. Universal will give you a case number. When you have your case number, you can phone them and tell them, hey, I want to schedule my phone interview. Most of the time they will tell you, hey, we can do it right now if you're ready. So just prepare yourself and be ready for what you want to talk about. And I'm just reading through this email. So yeah, after this phone interview, you will get the email that the AAP has been assigned to your Universal account profile. And yeah, nothing more is inside this email. I don't know, but they made it sure that it is the same email address from IBCCS at my Universal account, and in my case, it's not the case, but they were still able to figure everything out. So I just this is another email from them. We double checked the account and the attraction pass. It has been assigned to your Universal profile because I was asking them, hey, the AAP is not showing up anymore. During your visit and after you scanned your ticket into one of the parks, you can go to your profile and scroll down to attraction key recommendation for more details and reserve your return time. So after you scanned your ticket. You can see any guest services locations throughout the parks, so not City Walk included, for assistance walking through that process during the visit. So this email is specifically telling that only guest services in the parks can help you. So no, let me know if you have any questions. No, so make sure, I don't know, if you have already set up your IBCCS account. After everything was finished, I received, I don't think I have this email. Maybe my IBCCES card. Yeah, okay. After this, I received from Universal an email. We are excited about your upcoming visit and currently prioritizing calls based on the date of your planned trip. You may, if you're not calling them in advance, accept a call from our team at least 48 hours prior of the date of your visit. So I would not wait until then because I would have such an anxiety attack about not knowing if they will approve my AAP or not. So definitely call the phone number I gave you. This was as I was sending them the tweets. And please note that as long as your IBCCES card is renewed annually, there is no need to register it or revisit our phone conversation. This is another important detail. Your next step would be to stop by Universal Studios Florida, Universal Islands of Adventure, Volcano Bay, or Epic Universe, and proceed to guest services on the far right-hand side and enter at open entering the park, and speak directly with guest services regarding your return, and visit and receive your updated accommodation. So when I wouldn't have an annual pass, but I already know my next return date and even don't have a ticket, I can go to guest services and make sure that everything is set up so I don't need to make another one of the phone call interview. So again, there were different states of the AAP, and my disability is permanent. My doctor clarified that in the IBCCS process. So you only, with a permanent disability, need to renew, as I said, and as I'm saying in this email, to renew your IBCCS card every year. Just upload another doctor's note, give them the information again, and it's fine. And from Universal's side, as long as you have a permanent disability, you don't need to do another phone call. Then it's just enough to go to the parks with a new ticket and say, please activate it when you are there. So this is the process. But as again, I was calculating and considered just to get an annual pass, because then everything is connected permanently. I only need to review and upload the doctor's note once a year. And for me, this is just the easiest way, because this is why I wanted to check all of my emails to make sure, you only need to go to this phone call process once. They will only ask you the phone call interview questions once. In my case, I was a little bit confused because I did the interview in person at Islands when they set up the AAP the last time. But it was just a temporary AAP. This was never been seen as a permanent AAP. They only provided it for me. And this is another thing that will happen. Not for you, but if you are going into the parks, get an AAP, they will not make this AAP permanent, because I haven't shown them any proof of a doctor's note. So this is the reason why I still needed to go through the interview. And this was not communicated well with Universal, because I thought I didn't need to make this interview. Luckily, I called them, made everything the right way and set everything up. The only thing that was annoying for me, they are not providing an international number or European number. So it's quite expensive for me to call them. I think $2 a minute or stuff like that. So I called them, hey, let's do the interview. I was like, yeah. And there was only one question. What is the reason why I can't stand in a conventional line? I explained it quite in details. And then there was a really annoying thing happening. And if you have anxiety, this will be bad for you, I can guarantee you. She was like, yeah, I am looking into it and have a look what I can do for you. And she put me on hold for 15 minutes. And in my head, all the thing was going on, money, 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 15 minutes. And I was like, what is she talking? What is her supervisor telling them? Did she open up all of the incidents reports from my last time? And I was just on hold. Not a single minute where she was like, hey, it just takes a couple of minutes more. No, on hold for 15 minutes without an answer. Then she came back for me and she was like, yeah, I set it up the exact same way we had it the last time, blah, 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 and everything was fine. But those 15 minutes on hold, those were not nice. Let's say it how it is. To be honest, in your situation, I would just open up another IBCCS account. I had a new iPhone now, and I wanted to log into my IBCCS, and with my old email address, there was still an account that was not activated. So you can definitely have 2 accounts. So just make a new email address for your daughter and set everything up. I didn't need to talk to anyone at IBCCS. I just downloaded the app and uploaded all the documents. The doctor's note gave all the details of the doctor, and it was approved the next morning. So I wouldn't get through this trouble of reactivating the account. As again, just make sure that's the same email address as your Universal account, or let Universal know, so they know on which account this IBCCS UAAP will get connected. But setting up a new account and just have a new email address, I think it's the easiest way. Why going through setting everything up again and calling them and prolong everything? I mean, you told me you are going in November as well. It's not that much time, and I can understand that you want to know what is happening. So I would fast forward to it. Set up the IBCCS account again, upload everything with the doctor's note. And the fun fact is, I uploaded it in Germany. I was like to my doctor, do you feel comfortable in writing it in English? And he was like, not really, my English is not good enough. And I was like, they told me German is fine, so just write it in German. And they translated. I think they just used Google Translate or stuff like that. I don't think that they have a translator for every language actually in person there, but yeah, again, it was really, really fast approved after I did everything for the IBCCS, and it's again the easiest way. And as soon as you get approved, Universal will send you this email with that they will call you 48 hours prior to your trip, and don't wait. I mean, you can, of course. I mean, if everyone is calling them all the time, this is also a problem. But I think especially when you really rely on the AAP for your visit. And Universal, they didn't give me a bad feeling. She was offering to do the interview at the moment, because I was like 48 hours before my arrival, I will be on my way to a German airport for pre-travel day. And the phone connection in our trains is not great. And yeah, most of the people 48 hours for the trip before they arrive, a lot of things are going on, especially with small children when you need to pack everything. So definitely is worth talking about it. And again, I don't know if every Universal account of you is already set up, but if it is the case, just ask them to connect everything already. I don't know if it's possible or if they are able to, because if everything is already connected and stuff like that, you don't need to go to guest services at all. Then you should be able just to apply for a return time as soon as you enter the parks. And this would put a lot of pressure from your shoulders, I think. Another thing is maybe, I don't know if this is working, but this is another thing I would consider, maybe just go with one person the day when you are arriving. I know when you are really nice and talking to the cast members at the entrance, maybe they will let you in the park and escort you to guest services, so one of you guys can set everything up without everyone there and without using your ticket for that day. Yes, they will escort you out of the parks afterwards, but I don't mind what people are thinking. Maybe it looks like you get escorted because you did something wrong, but this should also be a way, because again, I don't know how much access City Walk guest service has to all of that stuff, because this is the reason why I was looking at everything up in my email. This email specifically are telling me only guest services in the parks. And I know for fact that guest service in front of the park has nothing at all, no access at all at anything. And I know that the vacation planner desk, or however is it called, in the hotels, don't have any access. They can only sell you express passes. I think she had access to my incident report number and was able to look stuff up like my free tickets. But she told me that she has not access to connect these tickets to my account. It's only guest services in the park. And I was like, yeah, funny, how am I going into the parks without an active ticket? I guess we figured it out, but I think as I said, I have an annual pass. I want to give a few of those away to my friend and maybe use a few of them in March, because I don't have an annual pass with Volcano Bay, because I don't think it's worth the money, because I can barely do any slides. And if I really want to go, those day tickets, especially with annual pass discounts, aren't that expensive. But I will save a few Epic tickets for this occasion, so I can go back in March in Epic. I think you should sign up your son as well, especially when you're having a bigger group. And you said 8 people. I think, yeah, definitely. I don't think Universal would allow to connect 8 people to one AAP. I can understand it. Why? Because, yeah, then you have the misuse again, because people would just make friends with one disabled a person, and then let them add it up. So definitely 4 to 4 and split them up, and 4 with your daughter, 4 with your son. This just should be fine. And again, I know for a fact that Disney is limited with the people to the past because they were so heavily misusing the system there. I have never heard of a limit at Universal, but again, I think it's just safer, and it's not flagging any misuses flags when you're going 4x4. Then I think, as I said, I can always say this person needs to be added. I want to do this attraction, and at every attraction you can enter who and what kind of people you want to enter, because not everyone wants to do everything, so you don't need to enter all 8 people when only 5 of you are going. So again, this is an interesting question. If your boy don't want to go to an attraction but your girl wants to, if the people that are connecting to the boy's account are then not allowed to go with the girl, those are things that you need to figure out. Yeah, I think, again, this is something, because the AAP is not the main priority for Universal. I mean, it is what it is. It's not a shame that Universal not so many people are using it. I don't think that they thought about the problems that are occurring to people like us, because I can understand, especially when you have a limited time, when you access the parks, especially with kids with special needs, you want to have everything is working. You don't want to spend an hour or 2 to figure everything out. And I guess if you really need to set up everything at guest services, it will take an hour. It will definitely take an hour. You never know who is the cast member there. Maybe it's someone in training, then you are completely screwed, because then the manager, I know it at my AAP setup, the manager needs to get involved and still approve everything. So I can guess adding people needs the approval of the manager. I don't know for a fact, but I could understand and see when they are using this extra step in safety. But I found it so confusing why they deleted the AAP. I can't just understand it. It's approved. They saw my IBCCS setup. They saw everything is fine, and they deleted it from my app. This is something I never understood. I mean, I can get it when you don't renew your IBCCS or your interview failed, when they then said, no, your access to the AAP is just gone. But why? Why would you delete the AAP from an account that is eligible, is allowed to have the AAP? And again, why should you need to go to all this trouble when everything is set up? I don't understand it. I think in my case, it's still confusing, because they are still telling me to go to guest services and set everything up when I entered the park, and the other information was it's activated as soon as you scan your ticket. So again, 2 different kinds of approach, but the safest bet is just to talk to them with the phone number I provided. I think email it's just call them, because for you it's not an international call, just it's maybe at lunchtime or stuff like that, just call them. Yeah, this is the problem I saw also, that when people are connected to your boy's account that want to go on Hulk, and your boy is not riding Hulk, and maybe someone in the group of the daughter don't want to go on Hulk, and there should be, again, I know that you can select the people that you want to join on that AAP, on that slot, on that attraction. But I could, as I said, understand when they are saying we don't want to have 8 people connected to one single account. This is something I would understand because of the heavy misuse Disney had. But there should be an easier way than just to switch people between the accounts. Because just imagine what a madness would go on when you want to switch people from the companies every time you do a ride. And how much argument is going on in the parks with autistic children in front of it. This is not a good idea and solution for anyone. So maybe, but again, this is, I think, because your case is so special, you have 2 children. And maybe they should just add, but then again, it's the problem. If you add everyone to your boy's account, then no one can go with your girl when your girl just wants to do an attraction he is not doing. So technically, you need to attach at least the accounts of 8 people to each AAP. And then there was the next thing. Is it even possible to attach the same person to 2 active AAP accounts at the same time? For an example, I don't know, when Jake is coming with me for my trip, if he can go to the to Universal with another guest with the AAP when I am not there, or if he is just attached to my AAP account and needed to get de-attached. This is a question I never thought about, and I don't know. I think this is overcomplicating the system, and this is something a lot of cast members told me. Back in the days, they had just paper tickets. I mean, yeah, it's nice with the technology now, but on the paper ticket, they could easily see if the person needed a lift, for an example. This is not happening at this version of the AAP, and I'm like, this would be just too easy. Just blob up a lift symbol every time this person is scanning in, and the cast member would know. But this information is not provided to the cast members. And again, I think with a paper ticket, they really didn't know who was really going with the person. And so different people could go. And I think it's way easier because now you are so narrowed on one specific person that can join you with the AAP. And I don't, again, as I said, with Jake, for an example, maybe I will go the next time with my autistic friend and need to connect our accounts. Is this then possible? I think this is a thing. Universal is not doing well in communicating the whole setup. The same is going for this email address and this phone number I provided to you. You really need to research stuff like that. Or ask guest services and they will provide this information. They are not widely available. And I can see someone like you need to use the system for the first time. It's so overwhelming. And I mean, you need to think about it. People with autism and ADHD and stuff like that are applying for this system. That is so complicated that even I, as a journalist, are struggling to get all of the information and to learn all about the system. I'm trying with my channel to learn everything about the AAP, but there are still so many things I'm like, I really can't tell you how it's working. And the same is with the app. I said it many times, in the AAP app, there should be a different map with quiet areas where you can decompress, where you can go when you are maybe overstimulated. It would be an easy fit just to add it only for the people with autism or stuff like that. Because if you would offer this kind of map to everyone else, those places wouldn't be quiet anymore. Or it's definitely technically possible. A live map, and hey, this area of the park at the moment is really quiet. If you want to get away of the crowd, this is at the moment the best area and the best guess for you guys. Those aren't technically difficult to add to the app, but again, Universal at the moment is prioritizing everyone else. I think it's a good way the AAP is there, but there is room for so much improvement, in my opinion. And again, I know, especially for an annual pass holder, you have a separate room where only annual pass holders are allowed. It's a perfect way to decompress because it's small and not many people are in there. They should add an emotional or an decompromising room. They should have a room in the parks for people with autism or that are overwhelmed to go there. Dim the lights, no music, just a place where they can maybe have water fountain there, and just a quiet place to sit. Maybe have some different booths so different people can be there. People can talk to each other or not in a quiet voice. I want to turn on the lights because it's getting dark, but this would be such an easy thing, and it will not take up that much space. I'm not talking about a huge room. I'm talking about a small location where every autistic guest knows they can go to, and this location is only accessible with the AAP app. So only people that are using the app know where the location is. Yeah, I think they also told me, because you can also tell Universal that you don't want facial recognition, so they are still using paper technique, but for me it's like I would use this lose this paper in 10 minutes, or not even lose it, but it will be not in a good shape after one park day, because I don't take care of my belongings. It will just get stuff in the bag, and then the best example is first day at my broadcasting location. They didn't have my plastic ID card yet ready, so they gave out a paper ticket that gave me access to enter the broadcasting building. My first shooting was on the sea. Yeah, guess what happens? This paper ticket was getting soaked so badly that you couldn't read a thing. And my chief editor told me, yeah, you set a new record for destroying this ID card. I'm like, yeah, then don't give me a paper ticket when I am shooting on sea. So yeah, easy as that. And this would be the same thing that is happening when Universal would provide a paper ticket. Just imagine going on the river adventure from Jurassic Park, or the water coaster in the comic attraction area, or Popeyes for an example. Then the paper ticket is just gone. It just is not making sense. But I think it's a good thing that they are still providing it for people that are choosing not to use it. My second to last Disneyland Paris visit, they also still had paper cards. There was only one problem. You only had limited space for the returning times, and I was hitting Hyperspace Mountain so hard. I can't count how many times I was on that ride, but all of the empty slots filled up pretty fast. And when there was a switch up on the cast members, some cast members had such a bad handwriting that other cast members were not able to read my return time. So with paper tickets, you will have another round of problems that would come with them. But again, I could completely understand when people, especially people with mental disabilities, and that are not able to handle these apps. And another thing Universal is not talking enough is that the AAP app should also be available and accessible for all elderly people. Because again, they have struggled standing in line. And they still want to go to a show and stuff like that. So there is, again, the communication problem with the AAP. And I think it's such a shame that our community is not big enough, and they could add so many things to the AAP app that would just be helpful. For an example, even the first aid locations, I don't think they are that good visible on the map on the phone. You will see them, they are signage that are good and easy located in the parks, but to be completely honest, I know exactly, because I went there a couple of times, the locations at Epic. I may know one at Studios. I think it's near the exit. There is definitely one first aid. But I can't tell you a single first aid location in Islands, and again, another one in Studios, I don't know. And this is telling you something. Yeah, the paper ticket will not survive. Will not survive the being with me, and but maybe plastic card that can't get destroyed, and they could still scan it, I guess. I think a plastic card maybe could be a good solution. And another thing is, they really should be able to connect all this stuff to your hotel room key, because it would just be easier when you just have this one card with you on your lanyard and everything is on it. I wouldn't mind. Let's say it what it is. I think with my annual pass, at least my credit card can get connected to my annual pass. And you can still ask for a printed plastic annual pass. Most of them are in the app at the moment, and I'm like, the app, this is another thing I don't know if Universal was never thinking about. I don't like to use the app for everything, because easy thing, this is the reason why they have the paper tickets at the lockers. Where is your park ticket? On your phone. Your phone needs to get inside of the lockers. Yeah. Guess how many times it happened that people open the locker with the phone, put the phone inside the locker, close the locker, and are not able to open up the locker, and they don't remember which locker they used. You will see all day long cast member figuring out with people which locker they rented, because their mobile phone is inside the locker and they used the mobile phone to rent the locker. I think, again, at Epic, with the facial recognition, it's just the easiest solution, but at Islands and Studios, they don't have that yet. And the second to last time I was there, I most of the time wore shorts, and I didn't have a space where I could put my paper ticket in. So every time I put my paper ticket inside of my bra, I was like this is not the solution. So again, would recommend to use the lanyard, because you are allowed to have it on you, but it's crazy. When you have a paper ticket, you should definitely still be able to use the app. I would ask for a paper ticket, maybe it wouldn't cost you, and they are not deleting the AAP from your app when you have a paper ticket. This is just not making sense. So this is definitely possible. And I am wondering when they, on the paper ticket, I don't know, but if they are only writing on the paper ticket the amount of people that are allowed with this person, this would be the easiest solution because you could switch it as many times as you want. And yeah, more companion bathrooms. Again, this is another thing that is not even located on the app. And even especially the smaller bathrooms, I don't think that every small bathroom has a companion room, to be honest. I'm thinking Sue's Landing at the moment. I can't remember a companion room at Sue's Landing. I know at Hagrid's, this restroom definitely, the restrooms in the front of the park also. And again, in restaurants, the restrooms, I don't think that every restaurant has this. And not all restrooms are prepared for a wheelchair user, for an example, because the tables are not in the right position, in the right height. So the wheelchair user needs to be able to move to a normal chair, to be able to sit in a good position on those tables. And I'm like, why don't you provide a few tables where you can just adjust the height? Easy as that. And this is something a lot of wheelchair users experience, especially when you have self-service. How are they supposed to bring their tablets to their table? I mean, I walked a lot of crutches in my life. You need to have cast members that are providing the help. Maybe hiring one in each ship, the person that are cleaning. Make them part of the job, helping those people bring the food to the table. This is not a big deal. This is not a problem. And I'm sure if you're asking, they are helping, but this should be something they are trained for, to look out for. When they see someone who is struggling, that they can help them handling the food. This is such an easy fit that would help so many people. And I'm already making the notes in my head and seeing myself going to Universal, and then those are the things that would be great if you just could considering them. Like my suggestion, never heard anything about it back from Universal, but a lot of cast members were like, we really want this idea to get implemented. I was asking them to have a special sign for people with hidden disability that may need help. I was suggesting just offer a pin. We can decide if we want to wear them or not, with Toothless, quite and cute, not saying anything, and use his tail. This, come here, you fat boy. Use this, get rid of the skull, and put a red cross in it. And only give the pin to the people who are on the AAP. Again, they can decide if they want to wear them or not, but the cast member will immediately see, hey, this person maybe needs extra time boarding or maybe needs help. Then there was the argument that those pins will end up at eBay or stuff like that. And I am like, maybe, because human beings are stupid, but you could change the color of the tail every month or so, and there isn't anything attached to it that will give you an advantage. Nothing. You still need the AAP and the return time to enter the lines. And why would a normal, healthy person would ask for slowing down a ride or asking for specific more time? And cast members will not be trained to give them any advantage at all. They only see, hey, maybe when someone is wandering on in the merchandise shop or stuff like that, they will go will be more faster into a conversation if they need help. This is the only thing this pin should tell the cast members. And so I don't see a reason why anyone should misuse it. I know I am getting surprised every day on how stupid and how evil human beings are. But for exactly this thing, I just can't see a misuse, and it would be easy for us because I am like, I don't want to wear a sunflower lanyard. I mean, it's my personal choice. I'm thinking about wearing it at the airport because just to get people shut up when I'm using special assistance. But in the theme park, I don't want it because this is the problem with the sunflower lanyard. Most people associate it with mental disabilities. And I don't have a mental disability. I don't want that people assume that I have. So this is the reason why I hesitate to wear a sunflower lanyard in public. Yeah, the same as a changing table that can hold your kids. It's the same thing. It's not money you need to invest in this kind. I mean, go to a store, buy a really durable piece of wood, and then good balls and melt it on the wall. Flap it, attach it really secure, take up no space, and everyone would benefit from it. Even, I mean, the exact same setup can be used for children. It's the exact same setup, and it would even make the space in the restrooms more available because you could just fold it and melt it back to the wall. You don't have to have this whole area designated for the people with children. So you will have more room available in the long run. And you could, I don't know if Universal is, I have not paid attention, but a lot of those rooms are providing wet wipes and stuff like that. Why not? I know if you are going to first aid, they will always give you wet wipes. Don't ask me how I know. I just know. They saw a spillage happen so badly when I was there, and they were like, you can always come here and ask for wet wipes. We are prepared for every kind of accident and incident. Their words. I will keep them to my heart. And another thing is you should really pay attention to during early admission, during early park hours. The surface can be really slippery and wet because a few minutes before they open up the gate, most of the time you already see them still working. They will pressure wash the entire park. I mean, I am an evil human being because you see the surface was slippery and wet on this point where they separated hotel guest and normal guest for the early entrance. You can, as a normal guest, already go in the park and only go to the lake at Islands. So where you need to show your hotel room or annual pass, the surface was slippery, and you could hear cast members shouting the whole time for over an hour, down one, don't be careful, wet surface. And guess how many people were running for their life, slipping and falling onto their face. And okay, a thunderstorm is going on, don't mind. And I was just standing there and laughing my ass off because I am like, they are shouting this instruction the whole time. And you still fall. I mean, no one was hurt. I am not that evil, but just seeing them slip just made my day. And this was such a fun conversation at Epic. There were a few Slytherins that were telling me, hey, you're not a Hufflepuff. Come join the good house. You are looking like a fun girl to have around. Become a Slytherin. I'm like, no. I am Hufflepuff by heart. I am Helga Hufflepuff in person. I have every Hufflepuff attitude possible. This is the house every selection is putting me in because I am a Hufflepuff. And then I told them the story of that I love my ass off seeing all the people slip. And they were like, you are a Slytherin. And I'm like, no, I just hate stupid people that can't pay attention to rules. It's easy as that. So yeah, maybe I'm a little bit more evil Hufflepuff. But I think if you don't stick to the rules that are communicated really direct and clearly, it's your own fault of getting hurt. Again, it's the same. I am sorry for the Stardust Racer incident, but more for the cast members. If you are begging 6 times to write a attraction you shouldn't do with your disability. Again, this is something people don't understand, and I understand it. As I said, I was fat. I lost nearly 100 pounds. I was not fitting into every roller coaster back in the days because I was too fat. I was a musical actress, and not being able to do sports and work out in this kind of environment as I was before, I put on a lot of weight. But never ever was I arguing with the theme park because I was not fitting into the seats, because it's my own fault. I was fat, I was not fitting, and I always thought children also wants to enjoy this attraction. So at one point there is a cut-off limit, and if I am over this limit, then I am not able to ride. And the same is if my disability at one point will not allow me to ride those coasters safely anymore, I will not ride them. Because, this is not that they don't want you to be able to do stuff like that, it's a safety issue. And another fun fact, most people don't know, the test seats are the seats that are the biggest one in the ride vehicle. And there is a trick, because last time I had a problem at Hulk. It was a fun problem. I wasn't fitting with my hoodie on, and I forget a paper tissue bag in my hoodie bag. And this tissue bag was too much, so that I was not fitting into the normal seat. The cast member was so nice. I was like, I rode it the last days a couple of times, never had an issue with Hulk. I'm not too fat for Hulk. You saw me a couple of minutes ago. And he was like, yeah, I know. But the seats in the middle of the vehicle are always the smallest. This is the reason why you have to separate people. They put small persons and children more likely in the middle seats because they are tighter. And the front 2 rows and the back 2 rows are those rows where you have more space. Those seats are bigger. At Hulk, they are even going so far, you don't have the normal security stuff, you have seat belts you can push through. So you have more space. And I didn't like it because it's not going down the restriction, and you are only holding everything with 2 or 3 seat belts. So you have a lot of air time back in the seats. But I think it's good that there is this way. And I know Velocicoaster for a fact, the rows in the back row are also more spaces. This is why I love to use them. At this point, I lost so much weight, I was a comfortable fit in everything. But back in the days where I was on the border, I always went for those seats. At Hagrid's, I don't know if I am able to fit in the wagon, in the side wagon yet. I don't think I will, because you need to pretzel yourself in. Maybe I will fit into it, but I would need help to get out of it. So the motorbike at Hagrid's, if you have struggle, it's way more easier to board, especially with disability. I would always say the person who has problems with it, put them on the motorbike, because the other thing is just, it's way more tight. And especially with autism, the motorbike is just giving you a little bit more space and freely to move. I find the motorbike every time a lot easier for me. And I think, again, those are the informations no one is providing you at Universal. I needed to figure out all this stuff on my own. And this is the reason why I think my channel could benefit a lot of people, because I am sharing those information no one is sharing, and I think most of the people don't even know about. But I think it's great that Universal has those things and stuff in place. And I think a lot of people are on especially Velocicoaster is quite spaces. You don't have much space because it's intense. You need to get secured really tight. So go for the back and the front row. Most of the time when they see you and they assume that you was able to fit in the test seat, they will always put you to the back or the front. Most to the back, because front row is always a fighting going on. You will notice it as soon as you know that the cast member are definitely separating the lines in this kind of matters and direction. It's funny because, again, there was no sign saying this, no one is telling us about it, and especially for people with disability, with your kids, I would always go for the test seats. Take your time and make the kids familiar with the boarding process. Explain them how they need to sit down and how to secure, and shoo away the people that are only there for taking pictures. I mean, I get it. When no one is there, take your pictures. I don't care. It's completely fine. But if there is someone who needs to test it out as a test seat before the attraction, you should always give space to them. At Disney, I was really getting furious at Tron. They had, I think, 20 people lining up to take pictures with them sitting on the test seats. And I'm like, hey, my DAS time is now. I had heard a lot of rumors that Tron is a hard fit. And I am doing CrossFit, so my calves are quite big. I just want to make sure that I am fitting. I just want to hop in, test if I get a green light, and you can take all the pictures. They were yelling at me. And I'm like, the cast member was just standing there and watching. And I'm like, can you please help me figure out if I fit? And he didn't pay attention at all. I was so fed up, I just went for the white and hoped for the best. It worked, it fit, I fitted without a problem, but the test seats are for this. Yeah, exactly, the seat size. No one knows about it. I only know about it because for the stupid reason of a paper tissue package, I wasn't able to fit in the middle row of Hulk anymore. This is the only reason I know about it. And then I start talking about it at all of the other attractions. I think, Stardust Racer definitely is the same case. The middle seats are tighter, front row, back row, you have more space to move around. I think it's a good way, especially with smaller children or the people that are barely with the height limits, it's good for them. And another good tip for your children, they will love it, the Flight of the Hippogriff, the Harry Potter thing with the Buckbeak. Beautiful ride, but as an adult, never ever go with two people in the same row. Never. You will not fit, you will suffer, it's not a good idea. Some cast members still trying to, hey, you will fit. No, say no. Say you want your own row. This coaster is never running on full capacity. It's most of the time a walk-in. Ask for a full row. Otherwise, it's a freaking nightmare. And this was another thing that became such a core memory for me. It was the cutest thing you can ever think about. The boy behind me was scared of Buckbeak. I think he was 6 or 7 years. He was quite young. And the mother really wanted to go because she was a Harry Potter fan and she was begging the son. And I just get down on his level on my knees and I was like, Buckbeak, he's a really, really friendly guy. You need to bow in front of him before you enter. And then he will take care and you will have the best ride possible. You will fly with him through the air and everything is cool. The mother was so grateful because the son started to get really excited and really happy and was looking forward to the ride after our conversation. And I was like, it didn't cost me a thing. I made the boy happy and this is cool. This was one of my core memories too, and the cast member saw it and she was smiling so bad, so hard, and I was like, why shouldn't everyone do stuff like that? I mean, I'm also a Harry Potter nerd, so I just invented the story of Buckbeak. I know in the books and in the movies that you need to bow before you approach those hippogriffs. So why don't talk to the children in this way and take the fear away from them? there was, especially with the AAP, the option of the family rooms, and I wouldn't be ashamed in your case of using them. So what you can do if you want to go on Gringotts Fornik or a Velocicoaster, I don't think that your children would tolerate Velocicoaster. You can still use the AAP, apply for a return time, and go through the line process, I think, right in front of the boarding process. Your children can also say, no, we don't want to. Then there was a family room. This room is normally for a children's watch. When you're switching your two adults with a small child, you will stand in line. Then it's the turn of the first adult. The other person is left behind in the switching area, and you can switch and the other person will go. Use it. Go there with one adult. Half of the group is staying with the children. The other half can ride, and then the other half return, stay with the children, so everyone can ride. So this is definitely something you don't need to get worried about at all. Test it out, go in the line with the kids. If they are saying, no, it's not working, I don't know if the cast members will give you this option because maybe they are not thinking about it, but think about it yourself. Make a note and use the family rooms. Every attraction has them. I know for a fact even Men in Black has this family room. I know Hippogriffs maybe not, because again, this is an attraction, never saw more than 10 minutes waiting time on it. So there was just no point because I didn't know where they could add and switching a family room on that attraction. But every indoor coaster for fact has a family room, where you can just use the system. Leave one or two person behind with the kids, go on the ride, and then the other persons take care of the kids and they can go on the ride. I don't even know if Disney is providing a family room like this. I just think it's a brilliant idea. Especially when your kids are too small to ride a specific thing. So this is a reason I think you don't need to be worried at all. Those family rooms exist exactly for this. And another thing is, I can understand why, but Jake and I maybe need to borrow your kids because we want to go on the flying dinosaurs thing at Jurassic Park. They are not allowing adults without children. So maybe we will come to you guys and ask if we can borrow the kids to go on the flying dinosaur thing, because it looks so cool and so nice and I really want to go, but I understand the rules. And another fun fact is, I think I can't remember his name anymore. I met him at Universal Japan. Met him in the entrance and spent 2 days in Japan with him. Can't remember his name. We were on Jaws. He was happy. And then I saw a flying dinosaur attraction. And I didn't do a research at Universal Japan at all. I was just happy to be there. And I was thinking it was the same flying dinosaur thing like they had back in Orlando. And I was so excited to finally go there. And I was explaining to him, this is an attraction for little children. I'm so happy we can go. Maybe the lockers in front of it should have given away that this is not a children attraction. It was a flying coaster where you're lying underneath the track. And you were pushed in a cage like in the movies where they get rid of the flying dinosaurs. It was really scary, and he was like, I'm not that good with roller coasters. And to be honest, this was one of the hardest and toughest coasters I've ever been on in my life. And I felt so sorry for tricking him, going with me into this attraction. And afterwards, again, I was like, hey, let's go to Jaws. There's nothing happening. Was going with him to the Waterworld show. I think we did Spider-Man, but yeah, this was the most intense ride he did, because I thought it was the flying dinosaurs, small little people attraction, but it's not in Japan. It's one of the creepiest coasters you will ever see. I mean, it was cool. I really enjoyed it, but I can understand if you're afraid of coasters, this shouldn't be the coaster you will pick for your first ride. And the fun thing is, it was for Whoop to Whoop, so the waiting time was just 10 minutes. So nothing gave away that this is an intense coaster. And yeah, never ever let me trick you into going on a coaster. I would describe maybe Velocicoaster as a coaster for small little children. And again, Velocicoaster, in my opinion, I love it so much because there were so many things engineering-wise that is put into this roller coasters no one is talking about. In the beginning, I think the first shot is a slingshot, but they are calculating the weight of the entire vehicle. So this is where the velociraptors are left and right and running around. You get confused and everything, so you're not noticing. We are calculating the weight of your coaster to make sure to accelerate you as fast as possible. I mean, this is pretty cool. And you have another feature I really like about Velocicoaster is the backup slingshot, because sometimes you will not be able to make the second hill climb. And in case if this is happening, you just roll backwards and get shut up again. Never experienced it. I don't know if I want to. I think I want to, but I think it's a nice to know backup feature. Yeah, I definitely, as I said, you don't need to go on a conventional line. Just use your AAP, enter the line. With your prioritization, I think you will have a small waiting time and then test it out. I mean, you just need to say you test it out. You don't need to test it out. I think Velocicoaster is one of those coasters they will not do. You don't need to communicate in that way. Just, hey, my kids are afraid. Can we use the family room? And they will say yes. This is where this family room is for. I saw it so many times that kids got scared in the line, and the parents were like, oh, I really want to go. So they used the family room, one stayed behind, and then the next one go. So this is definitely not a problem, not a thing at all. This is where how and for what those family rooms are designed for. I think it's really, really good that Universal is considering stuff like that. But don't feel ashamed or frustrated in using the systems that are in place. And again, even this, I think they are marked on the maps, but if you don't know what a family room is and what they are designed for, you don't even notice them. And you don't know that they exist, even if you would benefit from it. And I think this is something, especially when you're going to Universal for the first time, you will never ever realize the full potential of the park. Because if you don't know all those small little hacks that makes your life easier, your life will not be easier in this park. And another thing I would definitely recommend you guys when you are having a big group, buy one or two of those refill mugs. It's definitely worth the money. I think $16 for a day, and you can add the next day for $10, and you can refill them at every station in all of the parks. Definitely worth the money. I am also using the resort mug every time because tea and coffee is included. I pay $40 or $42 for 2 weeks and can get my drinks at Surfside whenever I want. I think there's always a 15 minutes wait time between the refills, or 5 minutes, not that long. So, and they always have sinks where you can spill everything out when you're putting them into the lockers. So they don't want you to spill everything into the lockers, because I guess stuff like that happened a lot, because this is why the rules are in place. And especially when it's getting warm. it's just an ice cold drink that will help you go through the through the day. And they have Gatorade available, and I think if you are combining every option, you have over 70 options you can choose from, and I think definitely, especially with the family, it's worth the money. I know that the new mugs are easier to handle. I have a really old one. No, it's not that old. It's from 2022, I think. I would still be able to reactivate one. You see, it's an old one. It still has Whippet on it. But the problem with this old version is you have no handle. You have nothing to put it on. You needed to carry it all the time, especially when a drink was in there. So, I mean, they are smart. They sold those carry bags. So you could just put it on your neck. But I saw the last time that they have new mugs with a handle. And you could attach the handle onto your stroller and stuff like that. So they made at least this thing more accessible and easier to use. I don't think that I will take the old one with me because I'm like, I want maybe to have one with Epic design or one of the new ones. And the same is going for popcorn. If your kids love popcorn, buy one popcorn mug they really enjoy. I am always walking past the Velociraptor one, but they are so big, and I'm like, it's a nightmare to put it in my suitcase, and then it would just sit on a shelf for the rest of its lifetime. So it's not worth the money. But if they like popcorn, buy a bucket, and then you can add the refill, I think, for $4 or $5 a day. And it's an easy snack to have, in my opinion. And I think at Disneyland Paris, it was, for a normal popcorn bucket, I paid over $20. It was just, you are crazy here. This is another thing, really affordable, and you really should think about. And again, please Zafira Falls an email with all your needs so they can already make notes to your reservation that you make sure you get access to the elevators, you get fast access to the laundry facilities, to the shuttles, and that you have an accessible room, the next big thing, and that your kids have room key cards with their favorite attractions on them. I think you should definitely let those stuff set up. I'm at least at the hotel. I am always going for the resort mug, always, because I think a Coke or stuff like that, when you are just buying one, it's already $6 to $8, and $40 for 2 weeks, definitely worth the money. One thing I really want and need to figure out, which would be really, really good, if you can use your resort mug with the chip, if you can activate this chip in the parks. So you don't need to buy another mug in the parks, because why do you want to have 2 different mugs in the end of the day? And if I just can take my Surfside mug for the one night in Epic and tell them, hey, reactivate it for one night here, I don't know how capable the ships are. If you can just put all this information on one chip, or if it's only in this location possible. And another thing is, because Epic is not a park hopper park yet, only for us internationals, there is the 2 weeks option with Epic included. But I think for Americans, this option is not available. And as I said, annual pass holders don't have an Epic edition at the moment. So I don't think that your mug from the normal parks will work at Epic. Guess maybe I could be wrong, but I think I've heard something. If I would buy a refill mug at Islands, I can use it at Studios, no problem. But I don't think it will work at Epic. And this was one of the reasons why I didn't go for the refill mug in the parks the last time because it's just, I was at Epic nearly every afternoon. So most of the time I just, in the break, went to my hotel, filled my bag up again and went out again, and then I just bought one drink or two in the parks. But maybe they will open up Epic to them as well. I think the same is going for Volcano Bay. I don't think that Volcano Bay is into this kind of stuff, but Volcano Bay is closed in November anyway, so Volcano Bay is not an option for us. Yeah, and I definitely also prefer the handle ones. They were looking really, really cool. And you also have really high-end ones. I saw some special ones at Super Nintendo World, for an example, with the Mario characters. I think I saw one at Jurassic Park. You have special versions with old movies on. And yeah, at Epic, the ones at Epic were the most beautiful ones. But again, I don't need that many mugs. I mean, they are pretty cool because they can also handle hot stuffs. So most of the time for work, I can put my coffee here and it stays really, really long. I have still a really old mug. They were really good in taking the stuff warm. Those were the design before. This is 2018, I think. This is the really, 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 really old one. But you had this handle, and this handle was, yeah, you could take it and hold it in your hand. I think it's better than this, but this, for an example, wouldn't fit in the bag, and this, yeah, you couldn't attach it anywhere. So I think this is the reason why they got rid of it. Again, this is, I think this is nostalgia. This is at this point something you could sell on eBay for pretty much money. But I still have this one and yeah, this one, but the last time I didn't go for a mug. So yeah, definitely emailed the hotel. I don't know why I set everything up at Surfside the last time and I had the note. I don't know until this day. I was afraid to ask because during my check-in, Marcus was telling me, hey, please wait here. There was a note that the manager wants to talk to you. And I was like, did I make something wrong? I never had a manager of a hotel wants to talk to me when I check in. And Megan arrived and she gave me a voucher for a free meal. And I'm like, nice, but why? It's appreciated, but just why? I don't know until this day, but maybe it was because of the accessible room. Maybe it was because they messed up my Superstar shuttle so badly. And again, that nearly drove me insane. I think Lufthansa changed. I booked in March. No, in January. I booked end of January, where I was still at Surfside. And Lufthansa changed my flight 9 times by now. 9 freaking times. You can't set up the Superstar shuttle when you are not booking with Universal online. Then you need to call Universal. So they needed to make sure that you have a reservation with them because otherwise you're not able to use the Superstar shuttle. So far, so good. But it's an international call. It's costing me money every time. And every time they are switching up the time or my flight number, I need to call them to make sure the information's up to date. And today I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm not calling Universal for this. I got again an email, yeah, your flight has changed. And I was like, I can't see a difference. I can't remember my original flight times, but it's looking okay. Tried to call my agency. After 2 hours, no one answered the phone. So I was really pissed at that point. Called Lufthansa and they were like, yeah, your flight is leaving 2 minutes earlier. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need this information. I bet you we will get delayed by 2 minutes, so 2 minutes are nothing. I am bothering about. I will be at the airport anyway, a couple of hours early. So because of 2 minutes, you don't need to send me notifications that my flights had changed. And I need to get panic again because I need to reschedule my Superstar shuttle. yeah, this is something a lot of people are really pissed at the moment about. That Universal is not talking about Epic adding up to the annual passes, because I know a lot of people are waiting for it, and at that point in time, Disney has just lost the battle. Because I know way too many people that are like, I'm canceling Disney and go for an Epic annual pass. And I know even cast members are only allowed once a month in Epic. It's not even opened up to them at this point. And every time I was in Epic, I mean, yeah, okay, waiting times at Ministry and Donkey Kong are always insane. But the park was never ever near full capacity, never. And I can't imagine that opening it up for annual passes will just put the park over the border. I think they should open it up in the off season, never ever in the full season. Then there could be chaos interrupted and stuff like that. And I know for internationals, the 2-week ticket, they opened it up last October. So that we internationals were able, when we are booking a 2-week ticket, that Epic is included. And this didn't make a huge difference in the capacity at all. So I can understand that Universal is still afraid, because they told me this reason they need still to figure it out, all of the operation side of Epic. Because this is something nearly every Universal park has to deal with. It's a childbirth. They just need to figuring out the park, the operations. And I think in January, definitely Epic hadn't figured out anything at all. As I told you many times, Super Nintendo World is such a shit show. But the rest of the park, Berg, yeah, it's pretty crowded in Berg, but in the transition area, Celestial Parks, for an example, it's always cool. I mean, Stardust Racer has such a huge capacity because they have 2 trains this is running the same time. Never saw Stardust Racer over 90 minutes. So this is another thing that's not that crowded. Harry Potter Ministry, in my opinion, Epic was never that crowded that I thought this is a crazy busy park. But this is the reason why Universal is not adding it Epic at the moment. They are scared. They are just getting scared of getting overrun. And in my opinion, the easiest way is maybe a soft editing. So yeah, you can add up Epic, but you still have a capacity limit, and you need, I know it during COVID for Disneyland Paris. We needed to make a reservation for the day we want to visit. And if this day was already full, we were not able to go at this day, even with the highest tier of annual pass. This would be an easy way of softening opening up Epic to everyone, especially annual passes. Just to say, hey, yeah, it's open, but we still run on not completely full capacity. You need to have a day reservation when you want to come for the annual pass holders. So I think, and the same is going for the cast members. They can do it the same way. Hey, you need to apply for a day you want to visit. You can show up on that day, and if there is still room, you can go in. But if you want to make sure you can go into Epic that day, you need to have a reservation. You can still park hop with it, but you need to have a reservation for Epic. Because I think Epic would benefit from it, because beside of us internationals with the 2-week tickets, people are not pressured, but they want to make their money worth. So they are rope dropping until fireworks for Epic. And I think Epic could become even less crowded if they are opening it up for a certain amount of hours, because then people would say, okay, we can head up to studios. Because Everyone with not our 2-week tickets will not have this mindset. If you pay for a day at Epic, you will stay at Epic. You are not going to the other parks on that day. And I don't think that Universal is adding this to the equation at the moment. That Epic could become less crowded when you open it up, because people don't have the pressure and the need to spend the whole day at Epic, because they can always come back tomorrow. And again, Stardust Eraser incident was a huge decision in that. I talked to the first aid responder. They have 6 times more first aid responder at Epic all the time than Disney has in any of their parks, because Universal is still scared. And I heard for fact from Universal, normally it's pretty hard to get banned from Universal property. You need to do ridiculous stuff to get a ban. But at Epic, they are starting to give out 1-year bans pretty easy. And I can't explain you why, but maybe this is a reason, because people pressure themselves to stay the whole day at Epic, get cranky, get hungry, get tired, and overstimulated when they hang out too long at Super Nintendo World. And then, yeah, people start fighting. And then again, the alcohol side effects are also added up into this mix. And I think this is the reason why Epic has still not figured out how to run this park. Universal has not figured out how to run Epic in a sustainable way yet. I mean, it sounds maybe harsh, but in my opinion, in January, it's such a shame, because it's definitely the most beautiful park. I am obsessed with Epic. I just could hang out in front of the fountains, because I found the whole park design so beautiful. But the people at Epic, the visitors, the guests, are unbearable. I understand that everyone is excited for Epic Universe, but it's still a chaos. And I can understand that Universal is really careful about opening it up. But at one point they need to. And Epic is open for 1.5 years. And it was never overrun. That was never a problem. I heard that maybe a couple of days was completely sold out. But at this point, you will never have a problem to get a day ticket for Epic anymore. And I think, again, just make it with a reservation. You need to have a reservation for the day you want to go. Easy as that. And maybe another thing is, I know that Disneyland Paris said it, you can't have more than 5 active reservations at once. So you can't just go there and reserve every day of the month, for an example. This wouldn't be fair to anyone. So you can only reserve a certain amount of days. It's not that complicated. Again, this was a setup back in the days just for COVID, and I think it's not that big of a deal. I would understand if they would raise the prices for the annual passes, and this is something I think, compared to Disney, Universal is still pretty affordable. I mean, $220 for 1 day during the most crowded season next day for Magic Kingdom, without food, without drinks, without Genie Plus, without a fast pass. It's just too much. When you think I paid for my annual pass $600 or $700, it's the second highest tier. I mean, I am considering going up to the highest tier, because you have, I think it's only $200 more, and you have express passes for free after 4 p.m. This is really something I will have to look into, how much a fast pass, how much I would benefit from a fast pass in the first place because of the AAP. Because a lot of cast members were like, hey, if you're staying in the more advanced, the more expensive hotels, you will have free express passes. And I'm like, I don't think I need express passes. Certainly not the ones where you only have one attraction a day. Those don't make sense. And I personally just don't mind waiting before attractions. I don't need to ride coaster after coaster after coaster without taking a break in between. So for me, the AAP system is perfect. I don't need to add anything. I will try it out again with the AAP VIP tour. I have express passes unlimited for that day. I will use it and I will see if it makes sense sometimes, especially maybe when the park is getting crowded, to go with the express pass. And yeah, I think it's still affordable at Universal compared to Genie Plus. And yeah, I am really curious in general about the VIP tour, because I think 7 hours it's a full day. I know breakfast and lunch is included, so at least this part of the day you will have a place to sit down, but I don't know how much walking is involved, and especially how much standing is involved. When you're going backstage, I can understand that there are no benches or chairs available. I am really curious how Universal is handling those VIP tour with guests with disability or special needs. Because this is another thing, I didn't find out anything at all in the internet. How you can do a VIP tour with a disability. I mean, I could gone with a shorter one. I am doing islands and studios. You can choose only one of the parks. I think then they are only 3 or 4 hours. But I really wanted to go do both parks. I really wanted to do the Epic one, but Epic was way too expensive just for Epic. I paid for the VIP tour Studios and Islands, $300. Yes, you need, on top of it, you need to have a valid park ticket. So I can't tell you from this point on if it's worth the money. I really hope so. Thinking about calculating it right now, it's like the unlimited express pass. I think this thing is already worth half the VIP tour. Then something to eat. I think $200 you will already have with this kind. Then you have the special lanyard. I mean, for people that like to collect stuff like this is pretty valuable, and you have 10 or 20% of merchandise all day long for that day. So I think you will get a lot of benefits from the VIP tour as well. And the Epic one was just so expensive, I was not considering. I don't know the exact price, but I think it was over $400. And I was like, there was the HBO series with all the background information about Epic I really loved watching. And there was not a thing where I want to go backstage there in Epic. At Ministry, you will have it with the AAP because you are going backstage all the time just to use all the lifts. And there at Stardust Racer, you see all the technique that is going on. You don't have a special room or stuff like that. You can see everything. So there was not an attraction at Epic that I really want to go backstage and learn something about. And at Studios, I really want to learn stuff about the Bronze Show. And at Islands, I really want to go backstage at Velocicoaster. And yeah, you are in a group, but most of the time you can decide as a group together where you want to go. And because Jake is with me, so I already have another one who is yelling Velocicoaster. So definitely hoping that this coaster will be our coaster. Yeah, again, Disney and the prices. Just think about it. My VIP tour at Universal costs as much as one day without anything in it at Disney. And I have food included. This is just, I know Disney is also doing VIP tours. Never looked them up. I think they are starting at $1,000. They were ridiculously a price tag. I never considered paying for stuff like that. And yeah, they are definitely pricing out the normal families. And look at the hotel resorts, for an example. I mean, I am complaining about $700 for the Helios Grand, but it is the most expensive Universal hotel at the moment. Maybe Hard Rock, it's the same stage as Hard Rock, but this is the, and I have theme park views, so you can go for the suite. This would be even more expensive, but I am way up there price range. And for $700 at Disney, you will maybe get a moderate resort. You will not get into the Grand Floridian or stuff like that, or Animal Kingdom Lodge. They are starting at $1,000 a night. And even, I mean, I can't tell you how much I paid for one night at Surfside because everything was included, but I think Surfside is starting at 100 or $200 a night. And if you then think about staying with friends and family and splitting the bill, I think you can get down to $30 or $40 staying at Surfside per person. So I think quite affordable, quite a good price. And I mean, never stayed at Dockside. I don't like Dockside because I like it a little bit smaller with less people around me. And I like the International Drive access and Walgreens on the other side of the road. This is the reason why I always choose Surfside, because you only have the two towers. It's not that big. Then look at the valuable resorts at Disney. The all-time or sports or all music, all-time musics, especially with a hidden disability. How are you supposed to walk through this resort? You will walk 10 to 15 minutes until you arrive your bus stop in the worst case, when you're putting in a room as far away as possible. And you need to make this walk every day, at least twice. If you want to go to Walmart or stuff like that, it's adding up even more. And then you need to carry all the stuff to the room. And again, I think they start $200 or $300 a night, and you will get a huge resort. I just saw videos about the food court, and it's just like a high school food court. It's so loud, it's so crowded, and the food quality is bad. And I'm looking at the food court at Surfside, and they have such a good amount of choices. I tried nearly everything on the menu, and you have healthy choices. You can go with grapefruit, you can go with grapes, you can have so many good food options if you want to. Nice salads, they have everything. This is what I really appreciated about the food court. And it was not that expensive. I paid for a burger with fries $11 or something, and it was freshly made, and I could decide what I really wanted on the burger. It was a really good price. And another thing, I don't know if other hotels from Universal has it, but at Surfside there is the famous pizza button. On the phone there is a special button you can press if you want to order a pizza. And then a small little robot will come and bring you the pizza. And I really want to take it out. I really want to test it out. I want to get my pizza delivered. And I think especially for autistic person who are getting overstimulated, or for someone like me who just don't want to see a single person after a park day. Pressing the button, get my pizza delivered without a human contact from the robot. Love it. Love the concept. And I didn't hear that Disney is doing stuff like that. I mean, Surfside, it's a normal hotel with the two towers. I don't think that you could get this robot going the stairs up for the upper level at those huge resorts. Yeah, and the hotel prices at Disney, don't get me started. And without them, even if you're staying on property, the bus stops or the transportation stops can be so far away from your room that it's not possible for people like us to walk there. Yeah, this is crazy. During back my day, during the program, I stand at the Floridian and stuff like that. Okay, we had the cast member discount, but it was affordable. If you were saving up, it was affordable. But seeing those prices now, I think under 1,000 grand, you will not stay at the Grand Floridian. Never ever. This is not going to happen anymore. And I mean, yeah, it's a nice hotel, it's a nice resort, but is it really worth the money? You know, the same is like, I am already complaining about the Helios because I am like, I don't see the worth of money here, especially without express passes, because the rooms are not bigger. And what I really, really hate about the budget hotels from Disney, that you don't have a lot of natural light coming inside of the rooms, because you have a building right next to you. So yeah, the West Room, the whole area is covered in a dark space. I don't like it. At least at Surfside, you have this huge window front that is spreading across all of your room. The width of your room is covered with this window front. And you will have a lot of natural light in this room. I love it. At Disney, you only have a small window in front of it, and then every time you see videos from those hotel rooms, everything is dark. You need to turn on the lights. And I just don't like it. Yeah, and this is the same. You are barely in the hotels. This is the reason why I am already arguing with my friend that I want to stay at the Helios the whole day. I'm not paying that much amount of money just to be there to sleep. And at Disney, I will pay the same amount of money for the budget hotel, for a room with barely any sunlight in it and as far away from the bus stop as possible. And I mean, okay, Surfside has the same issue. You can hear everything in those Disney resorts. I mean, it's just not acceptable for this price. And I heard crazy stories in the last couple of months and years how bad the service is at Disney, how bad the housekeeping is, that your room is still dirty afterwards. I mean, I can't remember. I'm stayed at too many hotels. I think Surfside is still cleaning daily. Yes, I think so. I think they clean daily. I think they have the rule that they're not cleaning your towels every day, something like this. But you can always request it, and I know it because I used the coffee every day. And I know they filled up my coffee every day, because I think otherwise they know I would go crazy going to Starbucks, getting my coffee creamer from Starbucks, having my first cup of coffee in the hotel room, because otherwise I won't not be able to function in society. And then the first thing before I'm going onto the resort bus is going for a Starbucks in the resort. And this is another thing. You have Starbucks, food court, everything, check-in, everything is located in the lobby at Surfside. So everything, or even a shop. And you can buy stupid stuff like painkillers and motion sickness tablets. They're thinking of everything at Surfside. And at the Disney hotels, okay, Grand Floridian and stuff like that, those shops are located in the lobby as well. But in the budget resorts, then you need to walk another 5 or 10 minutes just to go there and pick up some sunscreen. It's just not sustainable. I mean, again, if those prices were cheap and affordable, definitely I wouldn't complain. It's like staying in a hostel. I mean, I think it sounds brutal, but those budget Disney hotels just giving me the vibe of a hostel with your private room. Because it's way too crowded, way too many people for this kind of money. And I did a lot of resort hopping back in my days at Disney. Food quality. It's so funny because there are so many people that are hyping up the Disney food. To be honest, I can't name you a single piece of food I am like, I want to go back and order this again. Most of the time, it was barely more than meh. It was like, okay, I am full now, but never ever I really enjoyed a meal. And at Universal, it sounds so crazy. I was impressed everything I ate. because I was expecting the same low food quality at Disney, to really overpriced things. But this is another thing. I think food at Universal is quite affordable. I went for the Krusty burgers with the flaming moe and everything you can imagine. And I didn't pay more than $20. And this burger was a really good burger. It was not a cheap, stupid burger, not a Disney burger. It was a really good burger. I did the kebab thing at the adventure area. This is not closed, I think, because of the no Pokemon stuff, in front of the theater. And this was really, really good food. It was good meat. It was fresh. It was spicy. I really enjoyed it. And it was not more than $15. You can buy watermelon slices. I am sucking those things up every day. They are cold. They are refreshing. You get a little bit of liquid into you. And you will get a lot of slices for $5. I can't remember if this was there every time, but in the New York area, they had a sushi bowl with tuna and with sweet cucumbers and stuff like that. So delicious and fresh and good fish quality. Again, not expensive. And in the Avengers area, in the Marvel Campus thing, I don't know what it was, but I wanted a slice of pizza. I paid the price of a slice of pizza, I think $5, and it was the size of a normal pizza. And I'm like, how am I supposed to finish this slice of pizza? It's ridiculous. And they are like, yeah, this is our smallest thing. And I'm like, okay. And it was a good quality. It really, really tasted good. And this is the experience. Again, at Surfside, I tried everything in the menu, and there was not a single thing that was not fresh and really well done. And at Starbucks, the same. They are not allowed to take tips at the Starbucks at Epic. And I was like, okay, then this never happened. Here you have $5. I was like so confused, but they are like, yeah, we want to provide good service, and we are getting paid by Universal good money for the food positions. And I was like, at Disney, they are paying you $1.75 when you are on a food position. And if you don't make the tips, you are not able to afford the rent. If you are off season on a food and beverage shop, good luck with it. You can make a lot of money. I know a lot of people in the program that went home rich and were able to afford their whole education, their whole university. But if you are ending up on the server position in the off season, you're just screwed. And Universal is still paying those cast members a normal amount of money. Again, the difference, no? It's crazy. Yeah, I also already use tips for the housekeeping. I already prepared something for them. Yeah, if you're wondering, I already packed everything because I'm crazy. But hey. So I will add $1 or $2 every day, but I made notes and put German tweets on it. So for every night, I will pull out one of those notes and those sweets, put $2 there, because something really, really funny happened the last time. I don't know why, but Lufthansa provided me so many German snacks the last time. And I was like, I don't want to bring them home. I don't want to eat them all. So I was writing housekeeping notes and, hey, you can have it. Here, a few dollars. Have a nice day. And we started to write each other everyday notes. Completely crazy. They left a message when they finished cleaning. I left another message. So this is why I really wanted to do this with those tweets and those thank you notes every time, because it was such a lovely and funny experience to write all of those notes with those Universal cleaning staff members. And another thing was Marcus from check-in helped me so incredibly well so many times during my stay. And I was just going up to him and shaking his hand, and I was like, you deserve this. Please grab yourself a Starbucks and have a beautiful time. And he was like, I'm not allowed to take tips. I was like, yeah, but I just shake your hand, and then your hand is going inside of your pocket and nobody knows. No security camera knows. It's a secret between us, and I really want you to have it. And yeah, it was really, really appreciated. And the fun thing is, his sister is working at the food cart at Surfside, and she has severe ADHS, and she really don't want to get medicated. And I was just listening to her and had getting her advice and talk about my friend who is autistic, and was like, hey, maybe and people like you, especially when you're really smart, most of the time it's not only ADHD, it's autism on top. And if this is the case, the medications, you really, 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 really need to look into it, because when autism is on top of it, you need completely different medications. And if you are functioning, I would never ever recommend you. And you are standing in front of me, you're having a job, you are doing your job really, really well. I come back every day and just have a little talk with you. So yeah, she really was sad when I was leaving, and she made note when I'm coming back, and she was like, I am really want to talk to you again, and I'm so excited. And I was like, yeah, but your brother is just the best in the shack. And then she was like, yeah, I really hope that he is getting promoted someday, because he is just holding the team together some days. Yeah, I think Surfside and Dockside, the food options are not that different. And I also like Dockside, but again, it's just nearly twice as big as Surfside. Yeah, you can stay cheaper most of the time at Dockside because there is no availability, but the buses are most of the time, okay, in the mornings they are going Surfside, Dockside. So in the mornings, when you're coming from Surfside, you most of the time are secured a space to sit down. In the evening, they will split Surfside and Dockside. And the Dockside buses are always way too overcrowded. So this is the reason why I prepare Surfside. You will be there when we are coming, when I am, before I'm leaving, I will bring you some German sweets too. No problem. Half of my suitcase at this point is filled with German sweets, because Jake wants something. I promised to Surfside a few candies, and I promised to Epic. I have my Surfside candies. This is my entire bag for Surfside. I mean, I know it's crazy, but a lot of people are working there. I have chocolate. This is Haribo, because I know how expensive Haribo is, and Smurfs are cute. This is the best one. Haribo Mario Kart. Love those. This is marzipan. A small city nearby is really famous for their marzipan. They are hand making it, and they loved it the last time so much. More chocolate, because you can never ever have enough chocolate. More chocolate. More marzipan. And this one is something the guest services at Epic was specifically asking for, because a friend of her came from Switzerland, and she had this once and she was so obsessed with it, so she asked, can you please bring something with you? And I'm like, yeah, of course. And this is all the stuff that is going to Surfside. Again, I think for me it's not that much money. It's in Germany. Those tweets are not that expensive, and I know that they enjoy it and love it. Yeah, I think especially with autism and ADHD, I would only trust really good doctors, because my friend who is autistic, she also needs medications, because otherwise she will have restless leg and she will start picking everywhere and just coping with everything. It got so worse during her burnout, and this is something normal people don't understand. She is not borderline. She is not hurting herself for attention. She is hurting herself for regulation. And this is a complete difference. And not many therapists see this difference. So especially if she is using parts of her body where no one is seeing. I didn't know that this is an issue for her before she started opening up and talking about it. And when you have the need and you can't regulate yourself otherwise, then definitely should consider taking the medication. But in the case of the Surfside girl, she was completely functioning in society. And just because of the diagnosis, I don't think, if she don't want to, she shouldn't be forced to do so. Again, if there would be the obvious signs like she can't work in a job more than a couple of months or weeks, and she is getting so confused all the time that she is not able to function in a day-to-day basis, then definitely. But when those symptoms are not applying and you find a coping mechanism that is working for you, for an example, maybe I'm undiagnosed, I don't know, but I have a coping mechanism. It's called CrossFit. I'm doing sports, and every time I'm getting frustrated and stuff like that, I am just letting everything out in the gym. So this is my coping mechanism and my regulation. But if stuff like that is not working, you should definitely consider stuff like that. For her, for my autistic friend, ammoniac thing to smell is helping her to snap out if she's getting into an attack, and chili bonbons, chili candy is also helping her to snap out when she's getting into one of those attacks. And I think it's good that she find mechanisms that are helping her, so she has the basis level of medication, and then everything else she's trying to avoid. Yeah, I will bring you a lot of Haribo. It's crazy. I saw prices in the United States, and here it's like one package of Haribo is 50 cents. And in Berlin, I'm flying from Berlin. I know there's even a Haribo outlet where you get this candy even cheaper. And yeah, it's crazy, and especially chocolate. I will never offend an American, but I would not consider Hershey as a chocolate or a candy. I know it's different because you grow up with Hershey, so you are used to it. You are remembering your childhood when you are eating it. But as a foreigner, I'm like, I can't touch it. I will never ever voluntarily eat Hershey's in my life again. I mean, the funny thing is, I think Reese's is good. Yeah, the chocolate is not that great, but it's eatable and I like it. But Hershey Kisses or stuff like that, it's just like, I just don't like it. And when I see the shopping list for my American friends all the time, I'm like, okay, maybe you guys love to have German chocolate as well. And again, I will bring a lot of this kind of stuff because on I already packed my suitcase with most of the stuff because I have way too many clothes. There was 10 days worth of clothes already in the suitcase, and not a single thing is missing in my wardrobe. So yes, even with all the underwear and socks and stuff like that, I still have more than enough to keep me busy and to wear clothes until then. So I already packed nearly everything, and I think I will have 10 kilograms from now on until my weight limit. So, and I have 2 suitcases. I could check in my hand luggage in the worst case and put there more candy, and then I would have 20 kilos additional to it. So yeah. Yeah, I would always recommend trying out natural things first before you are going with heavy medications and chemicals, because there was another thing, you never ever know how your specific body will react to something, because everyone is different. And I, for an example, when I take those tablets against motion sickness, it will take me off for 2 days. I will fall asleep and will fall asleep for 2 days straight, because I am so sensitive for this kind of thing that is inside of it. And I'm like, I'm more willing to suffer for 1 or 2 hours and feel sick than taking one of those tablets. This is definitely my reality, and so everyone is reacting differently. My physical therapist is always like, yeah, he is also ADHD and autistic, and he also has a fused foot, and he's like, I am just smoking weed. Whenever I need something, I'm going to Amsterdam and take everything with me. And I'm like, if it's working for you, because he's like, why should I take morphine? This is way worse for your whole system. And for ADHD to calm me down, and for autism to get more focused, and for my pain, weed is just so much more working. And we are not talking about the weed that is having effects on you. We are talking about just cannabis, maybe as something you can rub on your skin or stuff like that. And it still has this weird, everything is bad thing attached to it. And I'm like, if this is really helping those kind of patients better than pain medications, then I think it's a legit reason to give it to them. I would not recommend it using just to get high or stuff like that. But even then, I'm like, I was in Amsterdam a couple of times. I would rather deal with all those smoking weed people, because they are calm, they are sitting in the end, sitting somewhere and discussing life, than dealing with people who drink too much alcohol. So this is another thing that I think people don't talk about enough, in my opinion. And again, to see every medication need more from a person-to-person basis, then yeah, this is working for most of them, but yeah, most of them is maybe not me. And yeah, Haribo is definitely really, really cheap here in Germany, because I think it's German. I think Haribo was invented in Germany. I think something like Red Bull is Austria. Germany and Epcot, I would never ever recommend someone to pay those prices. I was laughing my heart off as I saw how much a piece of Kinder chocolate is. They want you to pay for it. I think it was over $10, and I'm like, even with import, with taxes and all of it, it's costing here under $1. How much money, freaking hell, is making Disney out of this? This is just not acceptable. And even with Japanese food, the prices at Epcot. The only thing I like at Epcot is the soda station, where you can drink soda all day long for free, as long as you convince the cast member that you are just trying the different flavors. Just return a couple of hours after they switch positions and go there and have another round of drinks. I just think Epcot prices, and again, this is all getting on top of, we're talking 200 days a day ticket. And then you see Universal. I actually don't know how, let's have a look. I'm really interested. How much is a day ticket at Universal Orlando at the moment? Normal day ticket, because we need to be fair. Disney 220. This is really, really interesting. The base ticket, so no hopper option, it's between 119 and 135 for the highest season. It's nearly half the freaking price of Disney. Just let it sink in. For a day ticket. That's crazy. I've never realized it. I thought Disney Universal is already over the 150, but no. If I see a lot of things, I will go with the official Universal site, because with travel agencies you can always have difference. And yeah, the official Universal Orlando page is saying, yeah, $120. Just think about it. Just let this price difference sink in. And again, the Express Pass is $100 on top. I think the one, it depends on the season. The one where you can ride each attraction once is, I think, $100. The unlimited is $150. Even with this added to your ticket, you will be in the same price range as Disney. Just let it sink in. A day at Universal with a fast pass is the same as at Disney without a fast pass. And then you need to add up, I think, I just make assumptions here. I think I paid for my Gatorade ice cooled, a big bottle, $6 at Universal. Drink prices starting at $10 at Disney. As I said, paid for my kebab, a full-size, good-size meal that I felt full afterwards. $15. This is the price of a Mickey pretzel with some cheese on it. Yeah, and then just think about it. This is adding up. Those prices are ridiculously adding up. And people are still willing to pay it. This is something I just can't understand. Because I know a friend of mine who wanted to go to Disney with me 2 years ago. He is a massive Star Wars fan. A really, really big Star Wars fan. He has a Stormtrooper uniform. He is in the Legion. He is Star Wars. Stargate and Star Wars. So he wanted to go to Galaxy's Edge. Completely understandable. If you want to build your own lightsaber, we are talking about $300 freaking dollars. If you want to have the experience and buy a lightsaber. At Ollivander's, you can have the whole experience without paying a penny. You can just be there and see the show. At Disney, you need to pay. Okay, you will get the lightsaber. At Universal, you still need to buy the wand if you want to, but you are not getting pressured into buying it when you want to see the Ollivander's show. So if you want a light sword, then build a droid. I have the remote control BB-8 because there was the Star Wars outpost at Disney Springs, and I think I paid only $100. It was the normal BB-8, so not customized, not the ship, the personality ship, bare droid. Still way too much money for what it is, but I think in the droid factory, you are not paying under $150 or $200 for one of those droids. So imagine going to Galaxy Edge, wanting a light sword, wanting the wanted a droid, and maybe just wanted to see the shows. Maybe you don't want to bring it home, because I was like, this was an impulsive buy. I don't know how I will get this droid, this BB-8 back in my suitcase and home. No, I have a problem. So yeah, I don't know if this is the reason behind the prices at Disney, that they just want to price people out to get rid of the crowds. And Disney, the capacity the parks are empty. And there is no sugarcoating anymore. Just watch live streams and stuff like that. The parks are not that filled as they used to be. And I know that they controlling the wait times from the attractions in a way that the attraction wait times are always looking longer than they are. So they post a different wait time just to make you think, hey, you will wait a really, really long time. So you are annoyed and you are purchasing a Disney Genie Plus and stuff like that. I think this is a really, really crazy thing. You should not do it. And then go back to the prices at Galaxy Edge. Then my friend wanted to go into the in the bar where you can buy the Blue Make stuff and stuff like that. You needed to have a reservation, and it was pretty hard to get one. You needed to apply 30 days in advance and take whatever was left on times. And then a cocktail was starting at $25. And I'm like, I already paid nearly $200 to get into the park. And if you want to experience all the stuff at Galaxy's Edge, you will add easily $500 on the list. So $700 just to have the full experience if you want to see the lightsaber show and stuff like that. Yes, you could always have the argument you don't need to have to do stuff like that. But if you want to go on a Smuggler's Run or Rise of the Resistance, you basically need an express pass, because otherwise you will wait the whole day just to go on one of those attractions. And then the next thing, the best failure in my opinion, Disney story-wise, was the Star Cruiser thing, where you needed to pay more expensive prices than an actual cruise. And I mean, those Disney cruises are ridiculous. You never leave the building. You will leave the building on I don't know how long those cruises were, 2 or 3 days, once to go on Galaxy Edge. Then you have the new Star Wars lords, so the new generations, the newest films that nobody likes. This was another reason why it failed so badly. And you are basically cosplaying and role-playing the whole time. I think if they would have gone for the old characters and go with affordable prices, Star Wars fans would just run their asses off. They would get bookings for the next 20 years. If they maybe thought, hey, $500, 2 days, you have a few hours at Galaxy's Edge, you are living inside of the Star Wars cosmos with your old beloved characters. I think this would definitely work out, but Disney decided to go in the exact opposite direction, and yeah, guess what? It failed really badly. And I was looking into a Disney cruise, because as a cruise guys, sometimes we have Disney cruises, and I found those ships pretty impressive, and I really wanted to go on one. Now I was able to be a cast member who trained the cast members of the adventure, so I saw that ship and I'm like, okay, it's a nice ship, I'm done with it. But I was looking into a Mediterranean Disney cruise from London, from Southend to Southend via, I don't know, it was Italy, I think. And it was over 2,000 euros. And I'm like, if I'm going on a normal cruise ship, I will have the exact same cruise with the exact same stops for $300 or $400 with a better cabin, because this would have been an indoor cabin. And yeah, I mean, yeah, okay, you will have the Disney spirit, and the Disney ships are still, I think, the best thing. If you want to experience Disney magic, those are definitely your safest bet that you will still have Disney magic you can look forward to. But again, this is a thing where Disney is starting completely to outprice normal human beings, normal visitors. And I don't think that this is sustainable. Again, as we looked the prices, I haven't looked at day tickets at Universal for a while because they weren't relevant for me at any time. But for 100 between $135 a day ticket, I think it's pretty okay. It's not cheap, but I think if you are saving up, it's affordable. And again, it's the same at Disney, to be fair. As many days as you are adding up, as cheaper as it will get. So I paid for 2 weeks all parks, including Epic, $500 euros. It's a lot of money, and this is the reason why I'm going with the annual pass, because I only needed to add up $300 and had an annual pass in the second to highest tier. And yeah, I think it's not cheap, but I know that the Brits have also a 2 weeks option for Disney, but it's over $1,000. So you can still have a 2 weeks park hoppers ticket from the British company that are selling those. And yeah, this is another thing. Most of the tickets you can buy here in Europe, the park hopper ticket is included at Epic and Studios. At Disney, you will add up nearly $100 for the park hopper option. I've never gone with it because I'm like, this is, especially when you have a disability. Hopping the parks is not that easy because you need to take the buses, you need to run to the bus stops and stuff like that. Then you will not find a place to sit down because people are just like, you can walk in the park, so I will not make room in the bus for you, and you get annoyed. And again, it will take you, because at Universal Studios and Islands is an easy hop, and even going from City Walk to Epic, it's 10 to 15 minutes. So park hopping is not that time consuming. At Disney, park hopping from Magic Kingdom to Animal Kingdom, when the traffic is bad, can take an hour. I had so many stories. I mean, this was only the cast member buses from the old international complex to Epcot. I can share stories that you will never touch a Disney bus on the property again. I know those most of the time were run by a different company, but the fact that Disney was allowing it and putting the safety of the cast members in such a risk, I mean, it's funny to look back at it, and it was never a problem for me because I worked at Epcot. But the bus to Hollywood Studios had the tendency to go up in flames. At least 3 or 4 times during my 1-year program, the buses to Hollywood Studios just caught fire. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great. And at Disney, you will get a point on your cast member card every time you will get too late to work. Unfortunately, those buses were never running on time. So you needed to catch at least 2 buses in advance you would have to use to just get there in time for your job. I know the new complex Flamingos is located on Disney property, and I never heard those nightmare stories from those buses, but back in my days, the cast member transportation buses were not the best. And so I know how far the distances are on Disney property to get you from A to B. And this is why I think, especially with a disability, I would never recommend park hopping at Disney. Maybe an option would be going to Animal Kingdom in the morning and then during half of the day go to studios or stuff like that. Because those parks, I think half a day can be enough to experience, but when I went to Disney, I always went for a full day and then enjoyed the full day at the park. Because otherwise, it's just not worth the money. And at Universal, I never had a ticket without a park hopper option because I always wanted to use the Hogwarts Express. And to be honest, I don't know if I really wanted to spend an entire park day just in studios or islands. I think for this, the parks aren't big enough. Epic definitely. Epic is definitely a park that's worth the full day. But yeah, and then the same price policy is coming to the water parks. I mean, Disney is doing a lot of good offers. When you're staying in a Disney hotel property, most of the time you will get a free day at the water parks. But on the other side, it is telling you something, that no one is going to the water parks, that they need to add an option like that to fill the water parks up. I mean, Volcano Bay, I'm not in the summer months there, so I can imagine in the summer months Volcano Bay is completely flooded. But back in January, the park was so empty. It was beautiful. I could just float around in the lazy river and have a great day. But yeah, this is a completely philosophy that is so different. And this is the reason when I'm finished with the live stream, I really, really, really want to set off the petition to ask Universal to make a weekend each year for the AAP people. And I think there was a stronger, not in the right direction, that Universal would actually do something like that. I think the old Disney back in the days would definitely do something. They would definitely do artistic or a special day for DAS people. But the modern Disney, if it's not making them money, if they don't get any advantages of it, I am not thinking they are doing. This is another thing. If we are able to do such a thing and work with Universal together, again, I will make a little bit pressure with the AAP and all of the organizations. This is interesting in how and if Disney would react when Universal is implementing a day for AAP guests, and if it's getting successful, then it is interesting to see if Disney is doing the same. Yeah, back in the days in the Disney program, we didn't have any options. Yeah, you can technically could apply for a parking lot at the complexes, but those parking spaces were really, really limited, and you needed to apply before you start your program. And yeah, college program was filling up those spaces, which drove to Orlando with their own car. And for us internationals, it just didn't make sense, because first step is to make an international driver's license, and then you could be able to buy a car. And yeah, so most of the internationals would not go for a normal own car. And so yeah, we needed to use those buses. And again, you always had a story to share. And not in a good way. Maybe they have better service and better buses know that they are located at Flamingo service. Certainly they don't have that much and far of a distance, because the old complexes, the living complex, were located near the outlets at Disney, on that side of the interstate. So the buses always needed to cross the interstate just to get on Disney property. This already took a couple of minutes. And then it depends on which park you were working at. And another thing was, especially I have so much respect for Magic Kingdom cast members, because those opening hours are insane. And if you are understaffed, you can see yourself working from opening until closing. And then you have 15, 16 working hours days, and no one is giving a shit. And I saw a lot of people that got placed in Magic Kingdom not finishing their program because they were so exhausted. And I could completely understand it, because most of them were just college students, and the Disney job was the first job they ever did. And I was merchandise. I think merchandise is one of the most chilled positions you can get at Disney, but it can be really tough work. And I mean, and our international program at Germany, we only have food and beverage and merchandise. So no surprise there. You know what you will get into you. But in the college program, back in the days, before you arrive, I think if you were lucky, you know in which department you would get placed. For an example, you could also get placed in housekeeping. You could get placed as a lifeguard. You could placed at any possible positions that Disney World is offering, and they needed to staff. And they would always choose the college program people because they are the cheapest labor they can get. And they will pay you back because you are living on Disney property, so you still pay rent to Disney. So they tend to put a lot of them in housekeeping and those kind of positions. And then imagine you really want to go on an attraction, work in an attraction, or just work in a theme park in general. You could also get placed in Disney Springs, and you can also get placed in the resorts. And this is why a lot of people didn't finish their program or were so frustrated, because Disney, you had to go through an interview and tell them what you want, but Disney could just say, screw it, you are going into housekeeping. Maybe you are majoring in, I don't know, something, child activities, something you are want to become a school teacher. So you would be perfect in those kind of positions. You will never get it. And I think this is a really bad system that was, or still is going on. The only thing is, if you want to become a character, you need to go to the auditions, and if you survive the auditions, then your chances are pretty high that you will get to be a character. But most of the time, those auditions are tough. People from all over the state are applying for them, and I saw audition videos, they are tough. You need to be really talented or really need to be a lookalike to have any chance of getting cast as a Disney character. And then imagine getting everything in place, wanted to work as a character, don't survive the first round of audition, and then you're getting positions for custodio. I can understand the frustration of the people. And yeah, I know that I never got into it because it was only for Americans. I know Universal also has a college program, if I'm not completely wrong. I never heard stories of like this from that. And at Disney, you can pretty easily tell the cast members from the college program. It's not on the name tag, but you can see how they behave. At Universal, I never saw someone where I was thinking, oh God, a college program cast member. Okay, of course, I won't get the answers I need. And yeah. Yeah, this is a great idea, especially email address, so we can get connected for the AAP stuff setups. And if you want to, we can also have Skype calls and stuff like that going on that is not public, so we can discuss other things more in private and not with all of YouTube watching it. I will give you my email address with the other account. I am watching the stream every time just to make sure everything is working. Email address, yeah, phone number. I can give you my phone number in an email, so we can phone each other with WhatsApp or stuff like that, but my phone number is something I don't want to share here on a live stream, but email address, it's publicly available nearly everywhere, so I don't mind, and I have a good spam filter. Yeah, this is the thing. Disney tend to place people in positions they don't belong. And again, I can understand everyone who's getting frustrated. I think in my program, it was really forward. Again, Germany has only food and beverage and merchandise. The whole Epcot section, international program, maybe in a pavilion like Norway, you have on top of it attraction. But beside from that, you don't have other attractions. And KitKat is included in the merchandise position. So you definitely know what you got into you when you were going for the culture representative program. I always wanted to do merchandise because I just didn't want to do the service stuff. And I think at merchandise, you are more able to do the magic stuff. You can have more opportunities to make people happy. And the position I really fall in love with was just KitKat. Just giving the kids their stamps and the Disney adults and have a conversation, share about how I'm living, what Germany is, draw with them some pictures, give them some pins, pin trading. I absolutely loved KitKat, and because of my disability, you have a rotation system, but they let me most of my shifts just sit down at KitKat because there I was just able to be there. Characters, I mean, you will only be, I think, I don't quote me on that. I think it's the same at Universal. Characters are only allowed on stage, especially the fairy ones, for 30 minutes. Afterwards, you will get backstage and right into the ice bucket. Because it's Florida after all. But surprisingly, they are not getting that well paid like that they are deserving. Because I mean, dealing with the heat, it's a real physical job. And then dealing with the guests. I mean, the kids are not the problem. The same at KitKat. The kids were never a problem. Loved working with the kids. The Disney adults are. And imagine, I mean, at the fur characters, you could always hide your facial expressions. So those are not that bad. And then imagine being a Disney princess. Pretending and protecting the Disney magic with your face, with all of your entire body all the time. And then have Disney adults the whole day. I would probably quit within a week. Because I would not be able to deal with them. I just wouldn't. I just imagine, just look at the videos and see how they will behave in front of characters. I would not be able to be patient anymore. Because I would just say at one point what I'm thinking. And this was a good thing at merchandise. Every time, and Disney was backing it up back in the days. Because they were like, when you are in front of the guest, you are on stage. You're putting on a show, no matter what. And if you feel the urge that you want to kill the guest in front of you, you always have the option to go backstage for 5 minutes. If you want to cry or stuff like that. I never saw so many people cry behind the stage, clean themselves up and get back out here. Because, yeah. People can be that rude, especially Disney adults. I have so many crazy stories. And then imagine, as a merchandise cast member, when you're just doing cashier stuff, you are busy and it's flowing and you don't get this kind of bad interaction. If there was a bad guest, you are just dealing with it and the next guest is coming. But when you have a position where the guests is interacting with you for more than 2 or 3 minutes. And it's a person that is really, really annoying. And really just want to have advantages because they think they are more worth than everyone else that is hanging out in theme parks. Those are the guests that will put you over the edge. And again, most of the cast members have the option to quit out. The worst case, you know what? I would call my manager or I'm so sorry, but my shift is ending and we need to end the conversation. Easiest ways to end those kind of things. Then you go backstage, scream, punch something, go back on stage again. Again, most cast members have this option. But as a character, you don't have this option. You will be on stage for 30 minutes and you have to deal with it. You have to deal with all the crazy people and all the crazy requests they are doing. And you are questioning the human ability to process things at one point. Because I mean, children completely cool. This is why Disney is putting off the show. To be in character for the children, they are meeting the character. So you need to be the character. I can completely understand this approach. But as an adult, I think you should have figured out that Pocahontas is not real and that the person in front of you is not Pocahontas. You should have figured it out when you are 40. But people obviously and clearly has not. They are talking to those characters as if they are the real deal. I mean, it was so funny. I met Captain America at Universal. He saw my tattoo and he was like, you know that I am not the real Captain America. And I started laughing so hard. And I'm like, yeah, I'm an adult. I can clearly see that you are not Captain America. You're an actor. And we had a real nice 5-minute conversation. And he was like, hey, where are you from? I'm from Germany. And he was like, hey, I was in Germany last year. And we visited all of the Christmas market and I ate everything. Then he shared a few stories and told me what his favorite German dish was. And I was having such a good interaction with the Captain America. And he was like, I know exactly what you want for your picture. And I was like, yeah, tell me. You want to hold my shield. And I was like, please. So I had the best picture of Captain America and me. And I had a normal conversation. But at Universal, those normal conversations are allowed. At Disney, he would get fired for this conversation. Because at Disney, he is Captain America. And if I doubt it, he needs to convince me that he is Captain America. And I think this is a huge difference. I, for an example, just love the interaction, the meet and greet with Blue. Those character attendants are the funniest and best things ever. And they sometimes are getting really spicy. I was Blue's German schnitzel. And I was laughing so hard. He was like, hey, Blue, it's a long time since you have had your last German schnitzel, so enjoy. It was so much fun, but this will not happen at Disney. I mean, I can completely understand the thinking about it, especially with children. I completely stay behind this rule that you are the character for the children. But with adults, just loosen them up. I mean, normal functioning adults are just there for the picture with the character. And they will not share, hey, I met Pocahontas with their friends. If they do, maybe all of their friends are Disney adults, or people will tell them that they are crazy. Those are the only options that would happen in this kind of scenario. But yeah, I think Universal is doing it in a more grown-up way. And then on the other hand, I saw the meet and greet with Hiccup and Toothless and again was questioning normal human behaviors. I mean, you just need to think about it, that you have a cast member long before the meet and greet that is explaining you how to handle Toothless. This rule is not there because nothing ever happened. Those rules are in place because terrible things happened in the past. And I made him laugh so bad. He was like, have you ever met a dragon? I was like, no, but I have chickens. I think they are pretty similar. And he was laughing so hard about my answer because everyone was confused or taking it serious, and I just wanted to have a nice conversation. And this cast member will warn you that you don't need to touch the dragon in the eyes. You are not allowed to poke in your eyes. They give you specific points on this puppet where you're allowed to touch the puppet. I mean, it's not Toothless. It's not a real dragon. It's a puppet. And they need to explain to you where you can touch it. Just let it sink in and then think about what must have been happening that Universal feels the need to imply these rules. And those stuff aren't a single incident. I can guarantee you that. If stuff like this only would happen once, they wouldn't give a shit. Those things needed to happen constantly to Universal to implement this rule because they needed to pay an extra cast member just to give this kind of attraction. And he also has a toothless plush where he show everyone where it's safe to touch the puppet. I mean, if you're not losing faith in humanity, maybe after this you will. After you have the meet and greet with Toothless and Hiccup. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I love my picture with the little dragon. I didn't have Hiccup. I had another Viking. He was fun. And the character attended cast member was also from Germany. And then we needed to pronounce Toothless name in German and stuff like that. It was a fun interaction. But again, I know from the beginning that this dragon is not real. And the same thing is going on. How much cast member protection they need these days when they are letting those dragons roam around, the small dragons with the Boston Robot thing inside. They are better protected like anything else because people were going and pushing and doing unspeakable stuff to those baby dragons. And just why? I again, as a cast member, I never ever had a bad experience with the children. Yeah, you can have bastards that are so spoiled and can't behave. But in this case, I'm always like, it's not the fault of the child. Never ever. It's always the fault of the parents. Those parents most of the time are Disney adults and using their kids to get advantages for them. Witnessed it where we were many times. But seeing adults interacting with characters, I mean, at Universal, Hiccup and Toothless is something else. Other characters, I can't remember a single crazy or awkward moment. People are behaving, even with the Velociraptor encounter, with the blue encounter. Never saw really crazy stuff going on there and not saw a stupid YouTube video that something was really going on there. But at Disney, on a daily basis. This is the reason why Disney character meet and greets are always in a protected area. They announce where they will occur. Disneyland Paris is doing it sometimes with characters like Mary Poppins, that they will just show up somewhere in the parks, but most of the time you will have designated times and stuff like that, so they are able to protect the characters. And you see a lot of fighting going on for the end of the line, because I just told you, there was the 30 minutes rule, especially for the fur characters. They can't be on stage for more than 30 minutes. Do you want to see a fading Pluto in front of your eyes? No, you won't. So give the cast member the break. And people don't understand it. They are like, he can just stay 5 minutes longer, so I, who is spoiled as hell, can have my picture. I don't care about the health of the cast members. I heard these discussions a lot of time. And I am like, no, he or she really needs a break. It's hard, it's tough. I mean, in the fur character, you, as I said, you can hide your facial expressions and you can be annoyed as heck and no one will ever see. But when you are on stage as a princess, you need to keep the show running. And I don't know if you know about the tunnels beneath our Magic Kingdom. During traditions, during your time at a Disney University, you will learn all the tunnel systems in Magic Kingdom, even if you are getting located in Epcot. What I saw in these tunnels, I need therapy for it. Have you ever saw a Snow White smoking? You will see in the tunnels. You will see character doing unspeakable stuff in those tunnels. Because you are not allowed to film or take your mobile phone out, even as a cast member. Yeah, you will always have some videos from people who will not apply to those rules, but you can be sure most of the time Disney fired them. Because this is a part of Disney they are really protecting the magic from. And I think it's completely understandable. The same was for our backstage area at Epcot. you're not allowed to post a single social media picture from behind the scenes. And I think it's a rule, so you need to apply to it. If you don't want to, you're getting fired. I think it's completely understandable. But as a Disney fan, you will see stuff happening down there that you will never ever forget. I can guarantee you that. I mean, it's funny to look back at, and I think, yeah, this is a point I wish more guests are thinking about. Cast members are still normal human beings. And spoilers, not everyone who is working at Disney is a hardcore Disney fan. For some people, this is only a job. And it would be nice if more guests would understand this, that it's for some people just a 9-to-5 job. I mean, when you're working for Disney, you still need to have the urge to provide the best service possible. Back in the days, nowadays not anymore. But yeah, in the end of the day, you are clocking out and you are a normal human being and do whatever you want. You are not, I know there are Disney cast members that are living, breathing, and spending all of their free time on Disney property, but most of the people spend their time outside of Disney. And so, yeah, I think this is what guests should understand, that you need to treat the cast members well. And at Universal, I never saw really bad things that people did to cast members, even on YouTube and so on. I think guests respect cast members. At Disney, again, I feel so sorry about Disney adults are just a thing that I get goosebumps just thinking about them. Because they are bullying the cast members sometimes in such a terrible way, because they think the park belongs to them, they can make the rules, and everyone needs to bow down to them. And with the direction Disney is heading to, Disney is filling up their egos and more and more and more and more. And it's a hard thing dealing with them, because we talked about the DAS, how this system was misused, and now many people are suffering because they don't get the DAS even if they are severe disabled and need it. I heard from people that got denied at the DAS that are in chemotherapy, or people that are amputees. Disney denied their pass because so many people were just faking disabilities, and Disney can't figure out a way to make sure to filter out those people. And again, I can understand why Disney is doing the way that they do. Yeah, the Disney tunnels are the best. The Disney tunnels. You will see stuff again. You need a therapist afterwards. But again, I think people don't realize how sensitive a lot of cast members are. Again, as I said, I saw so many people just being backstage and crying their heart out. So many people where you should not cry at least once a day when you're at your work. This is not sustainable, and this is not good for your mental health. I mean, I think we Germans are maybe a little bit more durable. I never saw stuff like that happen too much on our German pavilion. But in other areas, you will see a lot of cast members just crying, and it's just always breaking my heart. And it's most of the time not because of the working conditions. I still think working for Disney is pretty chill as long as you stay and stick to the rules. It's because the guests are putting so much pressure on you. And this is something, this should not happen. And I mean, this is another thing Disney should handle. Otherwise, the managers should support more of the cast members and not only the guests. And this is a thing I personally saw a lot of times, that the guest will get everything they want. If they are going at a cast member and accusing them for things they didn't do, they will give the guest goodies for it. They will give them a plush, they will give them free fast passes and stuff like that. I mean, and I understand it, they want to get rid of them and just don't want to see them again. And if a fast pass is making them shut up, then they will give it to them. But the thing that they are showing and signaling to them, to their cast members, to their team members, is like, hey, I know you did nothing wrong and I'm sorry for you, but yeah, I just rewarded the guest instead of you. I was not standing up for you. And again, this is the reason why working for Disney, if you are really sensitive, is not the best choice. Not because of the working conditions from Disney, because of the guests. And this is just my experience and the truth, in my opinion. And you can watch a lot of cast member videos. And a lot of them are talking about the crying that is going on backstage for some reason. But again, this just broke my heart. To see people starting and working for Disney, and it was their dream. It was their dream come true to work for the company because they were such loyal and good Disney fans. And then this system, and especially the guests, are just completely destroyed them. And they will never look back at Disney. I mean, I have another rodeo with Disney because you all know the story. This is not have anything to do about the work relating Disney side. I had a good year, never had a problem to work with the company. I don't agree the way the company is shifting at the moment. It's just crazy. Yeah, you have my email address. Please email me. I can forward you my phone number. I will set up the petition in a second because I talked now for, I think, 5 hours when you added the other stream, and my voice is just like, shut up. I want to do another stream on Friday, then we can maybe talk a little bit more. And again, just email me. I will set up the petition, make a small video with all the information at the petition there. And from then, we will spread the good work, and maybe we can convince Universal that one day a year for all the AAP people would be awesome to have. So again, just thank you for this nice live stream. I really had a good time, and I will see you on Friday. I will do everything else now with the other video. I think it will get online tomorrow because I don't think my voice is capable of doing another short video, but you know, tomorrow this video and the petition will be online. So thank you so much, and I will see you on Friday or in one